I have a lot of stories I want to cover today. Illegal migrants wash up on the shore of La Jolla, California in a boat. Tom MacDonald does a rap song with Ben Shapiro that gets a lot of reactions, and I think people are going to be surprised by my response. Donald Trump has been ordered to pay over $83 million to E. Jean Carroll. His lawyer responded upset.
We will immediately appeal. We will set aside that ridiculous jury. And I just want to remind you all of one thing. I will continue with President Trump to fight for everybody's First Amendment right to speak.
Washington Post journalist Taylor Lorenz is complaining that a bunch of journalist jobs are being removed. Here's why I don't feel bad. And I'll cover some more stuff as well. God bless you guys. Dream Rare Podcast starts now.
It's the Dream Rare Podcast. Welcome to the show. The way to get the news at the desk or on the road. Let's go. God is great and success in our control. The world is crazy, but we get better from obstacles.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of Dream Rare Podcast. Thank you so much for being here. And I have 5 stories I want to talk about today. First one being illegal immigrants come on a boat right to shore in La Jolla, California, which is right next to San Diego. Not too thrilled about that. Second story we're going to talk about is Washington Post journalist Taylor Lorenz makes a really sad Instagram reel and TikTok about how the journalism industry is cratering. Here's why I don't feel bad about it. Third story I'm going to talk about is the Ben Shapiro rap. I want to talk about the reaction economy because a lot of people, I was skiing yesterday, actually. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't have my phone with me. And I got back to my phone. And I had 7 text messages telling me, yo, this is so bad. This is so bad. This is so bad. You got to watch this. This is so cringe. This is so lame. And that kind of just shows you the reaction economy, why it actually pays to make a cringe song more than it pays to make a good song. You actually get more marketing off it. I don't think people are going to get the take or expect the take that I'm going to give about that today, but I'm excited to do it. Then we're going to talk about E. Jean Carroll, who's totally not crazy, apparently. I don't want to talk bad about this lady because she sued Trump for $83 million. So I guess we all just have to pretend like she's the most sane, credible person in the world. And I'm going to ask the question, are the judges and the court process in those areas so liberal that they're screwing President Trump? And or is his top lawyer, I think her name is like Alibaba or Alina Haba or something like that. I'll just call her Alibaba. Is she like a good lawyer or no? Because it seems like she's losing a lot. She's doing a lot of podcasts. She's showing up, looking hot at a lot of events, but doesn't look like it's going so well in court. So is it the liberals' fault? Is it her fault? Somewhere in between. We'll speculate, but I honestly have no idea. And with that being said, then we're going to go into a few other topics. Let's start with the one that is probably, in my opinion, I don't know if I would call it the most important, but this is just sad to me. I'm going to play this clip right now. Thank you, guys. Give me what's up, Jeff? Give me a thumbs up real quick if it's good. I hit the ski slopes while just throw some thumbs up if you could hear me, because then I'm not going to see you guys until the end of the stream. Then I'll read your comments. I haven't hit the slopes since I was 13 years old. So I went yesterday skiing and I was like, you know what? I just don't want to get injured. And I didn't get injured. So I would say it was a huge success. I picked it back. Didn't. All right, there we go. Got it. I'll talk about my skiing after. This is a serious news show, folks. Calm down. All right, so here's the clip. Apparently, allegedly, it started surfacing. I believe Jorge Ventura was circulating it. I don't know if I'm sorry. Yeah, did I say that right? Jorge Ventura. I don't know if it's his clip or he got the clip, but either way, 1, Jorge, great journalist. 2, good friend. 3, not as good as me as basketball. Once again, he thinks he could beat me one-on-one in basketball. Jorge Ventura, come get it, bro. Appreciate you, my man. But here's that clip. So, I mean, I don't like to spend too much time on the negative, although I obviously do complain on my show a lot. It's kind of like therapy for me, complaining about all the bullshit going on in this country. I like the military, right? I like this country. What does it say that a boat like that can just wash up on shore in La Jolla? You know what I'm saying? And apparently there's Camp Pendleton that's not too far from then. Everybody was telling me that there's military bases over there. We got the military all over the world, right? Our military stationed everywhere. We're giving weapons to Israel, giving weapons to freaking everybody. I mean, Ukraine, you name it. And we can't even stop a boat washing up to La Jolla. I mean, this is a sad, sad day for America. It really makes you wonder. I'm not an anti-military person, but it's this is just embarrassing. I mean, and this is just pathetic. And this just shows that I'm not going to say our military doesn't care, because I'm not going to blame the people in the military, like the lower brass and the brave soldiers that put their lives on the line to, preserve this country. But it's like, what the hell is the top brass of the military doing that they can't even stop a little dinky illegal immigrant boat into La Jolla, right? We're in Israel, or we're giving weapons to Israel. I don't even know if they let us put bases there. I think they do now. Ukraine, we're like we're in like 80 different places all over the world, funding multiple different wars. We've been in Afghanistan, Libya, Iraq, and we can't stop a little dinky boat coming on the shore of La Jolla right next to our military. Like, our country's literally being invaded. And I'm not like, oh my gosh, be so afraid, but that's just like an ancient invasion of our country. That's the reason we have military. That's the reason. I looked up an article because I wanted to make sure this was real. I saw the videos and I was like, great, now this is happening. Apparently, according to Daily Mail, over 43,000 migrants have arrived in 3 months in La Jolla. How's that even possible? Is that even true? I don't even know if I believe it, because if La Jolla got that many people and they stayed there, it would be easily recognizable, because La Jolla is one of the last nice places in Southern California. It's just, I could talk about this for an hour, but I just want to put it this way. If anybody's out watching there, government, military, anybody, like, what are you doing? You're allowing little dinky boats to wash up on shore next to military bases. Like, this is beyond embarrassing. This just proves that our country doesn't care about us. It's not that hard to stop a boat. In fact, if you gave citizens, I'm not saying don't do this, obviously, because it would be a Fed trap, but I'm just saying, like, I'm sure it's not that hard to stop a boat washing up on shore when you have all this technology and GPS and everything. So, people said, where's the Coast Guard? Where's anyone? We're all over the world. We have technology everywhere. They're tracking everybody's phones to some extent, but they can't stop a little dinky boat off the shore of La Jolla. It's disgusting to watch that type of stuff, and you really wonder where this is going and if it's going to stop, because I know they could stop this if they wanted to. I can't even come back from a cruise without being like, searched by freaking my mom told me, she's like, stop wearing that cowboy hat. I was like, what? I look good like an American cowboy. And my mom's like, no, they probably think you're a drug dealer or something. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm just happy I'm coming off a cruise with a hat on. But my mom told me that she told me they were right to profile me because she thought I looked stupid with my hat on and my shirt. I had like a Hawaiian shirt on, a cowboy hat. My mom said they profiled me, and my mom's like, they're right. You look stupid. I was like, what are you talking about? This is vacation anomaly. I'm just here for a good time, not a long time. But yeah, it's like you can't even get through freaking customs, but they can allow that on the shore. Unreal. Yeah, my mom's tough. Like, when I have my beard too long, she's like, cut that. You look like, she's that type of mom. She's not like, do it. She's like, cut your hair, cut your beard, you know what I'm saying? Take the hat off, to dress right. Even though I always like, she's like, come when you come in, dress nice. I'm like, okay, but I'm glad she's that way. That's why I'm a young, dapper man, No, I'm just kidding, but appreciate her. Different generation, absolutely. Okay, so that's that story. Let me know what you guys think about the La Jolla illegals washing up on shore right next to a military base. And listen, we're all pro-military here, most of us, not all of us. Come on, guys. Like, that's insane. Like, protect our country. Our country is literally being invaded and nobody gives a shit. Unbelievable. All right. I know you guys want to hear about the Ben Shapiro rap story, and I know people want me to hate on it really hard because I bet most people think it's cringe, but I actually don't. And my reaction is going to be interesting. But first, let's talk about Taylor Lorenz. I know her because I'm going to be as respectful as possible. I got to be real careful around, feminist territory, but Taylor Lorenz has always stuck out to me. One, she's a mainstream media journalist. And two, I'm not trying to be rude, but a lot of mainstream media journalists are pretty hard to look at. They're pretty, let's just say, ugly. And she's not, so she's always stuck out to me. It's not like I care what she looks like or anything, and that makes me like her journalism. And it doesn't mean I don't respect her because she's not ugly or anything. It's not that at all. It's just she's always stuck out to me because there's a lot of goblins and gremlins in this profession. And, she's an attractive woman, and she's very upset that a lot of her colleagues are being, I guess, job disappeared because nobody cares about journalism anymore. So let's watch a minute and a half of Taylor Lorenz, Washington Post journalist, very upset that the journalism industry is cratering Boo hoo, boo hoo hoo.
The entire journalism industry is basically in a free fall. Today, the Los Angeles Times laid off 115 employees. They wiped out their entire DC bureau in an election year. They laid off pretty much all of their sports teams. They killed their entire tech and business section. They laid off breaking news writers, social media editors. The list goes on. But what's really dark is this is just the latest in months and months and months of layoffs in the media industry. In fact, tens of thousands of journalists have been laid off in the past year. Major media companies like BuzzFeed News have completely shuttered their news operations. Time magazine also just laid off a ton of people, and Sports Illustrated basically shut down last week. Pretty much the entire digital media ecosystem that myself and a lot of other millennial journalists came up in has been completely hollowed out. And it's not just digital media sites. Local news has been obliterated. The newspaper industry is cratering. Radio is essentially dead aside from NPR, which has been gutted. Meanwhile, hundreds of workers at Condé Nast, the parent company of pretty much every major magazine from GQ to Vogue to The New Yorker to Vanity Fair, are on strike because they're also facing impending layoffs. Even mainstream national media outlets owned by billionaires like the Washington Post, where I work, and The Atlantic, where I used to work, have done layoffs. If you're a young journalist today, there's almost no on-ramp to traditional journalism. Even if you do get a job, journalists' salaries have been stagnant and even declined. And by the way, we don't make that much to begin with. I don't think people understand how bad the world would be without journalists.
It's a damn shame for journos like me and journos like it's like cue the Oliver Anthony. It's a damn shame. I see people roasting her in the comment section. I'm saying it's about the content of her character, but I'm just saying compared to some of these other media goblins, she's anyway. It wasn't supposed to be a beauty pageant. I was just saying, like, compare her to, like, Trisha Johnson, writing about obese, like, white supremacy. And she's like, if you're under 700 pounds, you're not. It's like, whatever, Jessica, or, whatever the other writers are doing. But, yeah, it's a damn shame what this world's gone to for journos like you. Actually, it's not affecting me, Taylor Lorenz, because I don't work for those companies, but sad to hear. It's hard to feel bad because these mainstream media journalists, they were so smug for so many years. I would say, colluded, whether they did it or their bosses did it. They colluded with big tech to act like they were above everyone else. Like, we're the trusted source. We get boosted in the Google algorithm. We get boosted in the YouTube algorithm. It's like they artificially tried to leverage themselves over everybody. They didn't evolve. They didn't adapt to the new wave. I always said, and I'm not sure who's done a good job. I would say more like the Daily Wires have done a good job of this. And I'm not like a fan ethically of like everything the Daily Wire does. I'm not a hater either. I'm realistic about the pros and the cons, but they adapted to the digital age. Washington Post, New York Times, they haven't really adapted, for whatever reason. For the last like 6 years, instead of trying to bring on new talent and hire new talent, like, they have more money, more power. They could have been like, oh, that's a good person, let's pluck them. But they don't like talented people. Like, they hate talented people. They hate honest people. They hate good journalists. So if you spend 8 years hating good journalism, then, and then you lose everything. It's like, well, maybe you should have spent more time facilitating the talent in this industry instead of hating on it. And now you're going out of business because you're not evolving to the digital age. People would rather listen to Theo Vaughn make up stories about people in Arkansas or wherever he's from. And I forget, I think, is he from Mississippi or Arkansas or Alabama? I'm not really sure, but it's like, he's like messing around. He's like, my friend Cletus, and it's like, haha, it's like 5 million views. And then they're like, oh, Trump sucks. And it gets like 5 views. Or, oh, it's like, oh my gosh, Charlottesville. It's like, how many times are you going to talk about Charlottesville? We've heard it like 1,000 times. So, people would rather listen to like Theo Vaughn, Rogan, even, I don't know, Candace Owens, the people at Breaking Points, whatever their name is, Jimmy Dore. He's a left winger that people like to listen to. Glenn Greenwald does a solid job, but he's like banned from the country or something for some reason. Maybe the Snowden story. There's a lot of talent out there, and they don't like any of the talent. They don't like the left wing talent. They don't like the right wing talent. They don't like funny people. They don't like good musicians. They don't like anybody. So it's like they've hated on everybody awesome for the last 7 years, use their collaborations to be above us, try to censor us and shut us down. And now they're going out of business. Sucks for you guys. Guess who's not going out of business? Me, oh my gosh, I'm not going out of business. How crazy is that? That's weird. I work by myself and I'm not going out of business, but you have billions of dollars in multiple, media companies and all these social media platforms that have worked against me for years, taken away tens of thousands of dollars, deleted my accounts, and I'm still here. Sucks to be you, doesn't it? It's almost like doing things right stands the test of time. And even if you're going to do things wrong, which I don't recommend, you know, at least evolve with the industry. Like, be like, okay, we got to start making videos. We have to start hiring talented people to do stuff. We can't just rely on like goblins writing articles about like workout bros forever. And they didn't do that. So now they're all going out of business. And it's like, oh, what do you want me to really say? The sad part is, I feel like they've almost manifested their own demise and they've almost manifested what they didn't want to happen. Because even though I despise almost everything that mainstream media journalists do, I actually do think they did some good work. And I do think that they are somewhat right about some people. And the sad part is the people that they hate are going to do a lot better than them and they're going to go out of business and it's their own fault. What I'm saying is, they were so afraid of right wingers and people that didn't do journalism. And, in many ways, I'm just going to say like they're right, not about me and everybody, but there are a lot of people on the right that they don't do journalism. They're professional activists, they're professional fans of politicians. And I would say they're even more biased than CNN, and I don't like CNN. I'm just saying like there's right wingers that don't even try to cover stories. They're just like fans of politicians. And the funny part is that was everything that those mainstream media journalists didn't want to happen. And it's kind of happening, but it's not because like they're so bad and they're so good. It's just they didn't do their job and, they got outmaneuvered by people that, have a bigger fan base and are more passionate about what they believe. So I think if they would have done a good job, then I would feel bad for them, but they didn't. So it's like you're losing and, you never were really good to begin with. I think the LA Times, someone was saying Bill Malugin, who I respect. I think he's a good mainstream media journalist. He works for Fox News. He's at the border. Seems like a nice guy. He said, LA Times sucks and they're far left and a lot of them are trash, but they actually did do a few good journalism stories over the years to hold the city accountable and Democrats. And now all of that's gone. Like their investigative journalism, them, BuzzFeed, it's all getting wiped away. And it's a damn shame, as our friend Oliver Anthony would say, it's a damn shame what the world's going to for people like me and people like you. And it's like, yeah, it sucks that the small percentage of journalists at your organization that did a good job don't get to work, but it's because 90% of your organization sucked and you didn't try to be that. You tried to be something else and it didn't work. I don't really know what to tell you guys. Don't feel that bad. God bless y'all. Good luck. I'm sure they're hiring elsewhere. And I think in order to make it in the new journalism age, you have to be a star. You have to build, you have to learn like what's new. And you can't just stick to print press for the rest of your life being annoying. And if you're going to do print press, be good at it. There's still people making millions of dollars a year on books. They're just good writers. You're not a good writer. There's still probably journalists making millions a year doing the little clicky journalism. It's just not you because you suck at it. So it's like, in this day and age, there's a lot of competition. You got to be really, really good at what you do. None of which any of these mainstream media people have any talented people whatsoever. They're allergic to talent. So they collapse. What can you really say? And on that note, I do want to kind of make a segue into this Ben Shapiro video because I do believe that a lot of people are stuck between a rock and a hard place, not just mainstream media, but also like podcasting journalists. And then this goes into music too. And I think it really relates to the Tom McDonald Shapiro thing. People don't always want the deep story. Like sometimes, and I'm not making excuses like, oh, I can't do my job. Boo-hoo, feel bad for me. I don't care. I'll figure it out. But I'm just saying, sometimes you do what really matters to you, right? You're like, this matters. It's so important for society. It took me freaking 3 weeks to create, and you put it out and nobody really cares. And then you like just dance around. You're like, watch me whip, watch me nay, watch me dance like this. And then it gets like 10 billion views. And you're like, wow, I literally have to get stupider in order to get more views. Like that's the world. Apparently there's a song. 2 people have told me in the last 2 days about this Ice Spice song that obviously I could care less about, but apparently it's a big hit. It's like, you think you're the shit, but you're not. You're like a little fart. And it's like, what? But like I come out with a song and I'm like, I'm a thought leader. I am not. You can, and I'm, and it's like, I just farted in my pants. And people were like, oh, the fart song. Let me do a TikTok reel to that. It's like, so the point I'm making with journalism is like, it's not always like high level stuff that sells. And I'm not complaining like, oh, go stream my music. I don't like, I'll get the streams when I want the streams, but it's like, when people listen, but it's like, you think you're the shit. You're not, you're a little fart. Like, what is this? The 10,000th like poop pun in like, this is not the first poop pun in rap music before, but it's like, it's a line that's been said 1,000 times and someone took it and just made it dumber and stupider and less like impressive. And that's the big scoop. It's like, you're not the shit. You're a little fart. Get it? It's like, can we not, are we out of lyrics? Do we need a dictionary here? Are we running out of words? We got to call people farts now. It's like, what are we, 5 years old again? So, to relate before I get into the Tom McDonald, like, I'm sure a lot of mainstream media journalists, they kind of got stuck, because like if they cracked a story that mattered, no one cared. But if they were like, Trump fell downstairs and then it got a lot of views, or like Trump, led his people to January 6th, record profits. So I think everyone's having trouble, not just the mainstream media. And once again, I don't feel bad for them. I'm just saying they're part of the problem. Everyone's like, doesn't, it's hard to be ethical. It's hard to be like say important things. No one cares. Like, it's like literally making fart jokes and covering Trump, like taking a piss on a golf course gets more views than like a journalistic Glenn Greenwald story. Glenn Greenwald's like, hey, I just uncovered something about a corrupt dictator in another country that could save the world. And everyone's like, shut up, Glenn Greenwald, gay. And then it's like, Trump took a piss at Bedminster golf course. And they're like, what? And it gets like 10 million views. That's just kind of how it works. So I think everyone's scrambling. Mainstream media couldn't figure out what to do, but everyone's like, what do I cover? Like, no one cares about anything anymore. Like, you're better off doing something really dumb and stupid than you are something that matters. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm not blaming you. I'm not going to blame the kids. I've already blamed boomers enough, and we love boomers out here. We love boomers that are booming beyond boomers. We love great grandmas, great grandmas, grandmas, grandpas. We're boomer fanatics out here, so we're not going to speak bad about them today. But whose fault is it? I don't know. Blame Gen Z. You could blame the rap industry, but everybody's just trying to get clicks, and sometimes the most important ethical stuff is not what people want to click on. They want to click on drama. They want a good Kardashian. Speaking of which, I was skiing yesterday, and I haven't skied in 20 years. I don't want to talk about it too much because this is a serious news show. It's not about what did Anomaly do on Saturday. I could write a book about it. But I get back from the ski slope, right? I didn't bring my phone. I took like a 6-hour break. It was maybe longer. And I have all these text messages, right? And everybody sent me the same thing yesterday. It was, yo, check out this Ben Shapiro rap. Oh my gosh, check out this new Tom McDonald song. Ben Shapiro sucks. Ben, this is so lame. Tom McDonald's such a shill. Ben is so cringe. I would say 7 people sent me that song, and not a single one of them actually liked the song. So before we even talk about the song or Ben Shapiro or Tom McDonald, what does this tell you about the marketing of the song? If Tom McDonald would have dropped a song with Tech9, who's actually like a talented rapper, nobody would have really cared. I mean, Tom probably would have hit number 1 on, he's got a great built-in, like he's probably the best rapper when it comes to marketing. Like, let's get into the rap after. I want to talk about the marketing aspect. He's probably the best independent rapper when it comes to marketing. Like, he kills it. Everything he does, he always can figure out how to get sales, hit the charts, make it relevant. He's very good at packaging a gimmick and a whole kind of like movie within a song and a concept. And I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying he's good at it. He got 7 people to send me the song and none of them like that. So, does he not know that? I think he knew that. I think he absolutely knew putting Ben Shapiro on a song would be bigger than collabing with a big artist. Why? Ben Shapiro hates rap music. He said he doesn't even think it's real music. Ben Shapiro is a news host. He's popular and unpopular. Millions of people love Ben Shapiro. Millions of people hate Ben Shapiro. Millions of people love to hate Ben Shapiro. Millions of people hate to love Ben Shapiro. And millions of people love to love Ben Shapiro. So putting out a rap song with him who doesn't rap makes people react. we not only live in an attention economy. Someone said we don't care, then click the X button. Dude, being like drunk on YouTube, like typing in all caps, like it's just weird, bro. Just click another video then. But we live in not just an attention economy, but we live in a reaction economy. Either you're creating something that people react to, or you're reacting to other people's creation. And that's just the world we live in. I think something that blew my mind about Oliver Anthony, it's a damn shame, world's gone too. For people like that song, it created a moment. He just changed the fabric of reality and everybody was reacting to it. Most people loved it. Most people thought it was really deep. A lot of people didn't like it. They thought he was corny, or they thought he was a plant. You know, he had weird political views or whatever. But he created the moment. And then everybody reacted around that moment. And you don't see that very often for independent artists. It's not easy to create a moment. And it's especially uneasy. Oliver Anthony, I would say, did it in an even more difficult manner because he created a moment that most people actually liked. It wasn't like a gimmick, like, oh, look at Ben Shapiro, ha ha ha. It was like a song that like made people cry. And I'm not saying you liked it, but a lot of people did. I did the first time I heard it. I was like, I get it. I see why it's big. I'm like, this guy, he cracked the matrix. So that's what's happening here. It's like, you know, you either create something that people react to, or you react to things that other people create. And Tom, he probably knew exactly what he was doing. He's like, if I put Ben on a song, it's going to blow up because there's going to be just as many people hating on it than liking it. And I'm not blaming you, and I'm not blaming people who are saying effing lame. I didn't even listen to the song, to be honest. You know, but I'm going to get into that in a second. I'm not saying I even like the song. I didn't, but I'm not a hater. And I guess I just understand the way the world works, where it's like, why do you think people like to hate more than they like to love sometime? Like, I can't think of a single time, maybe Oliver Anthony, but even that wasn't as like viral as quickly, not on the internet, but like to my text messages. Like, I don't think 8 people texted me Oliver Anthony when it came out, but I got it. I saw it a bunch of times. 8 people texted me about Tom McDonald's. No one has come together to text me the same song ever in the last 10 years. Like, my friends don't all text me the same song at the same time. Nobody cares about music that way. It's not 2009 when like a rapper drops a new song. Yo, you got to hear this new Kendrick Lamar song. Like, those days are gone. It's fascinating that he was able to create a marketing moment like that, and it was off people hating it. You know, it just shows you people like to hate sometimes more than love. And I'm not blaming people. It's just that's the music era we live in. Like, I make music, right? I have my biggest song has like maybe like 4 million streams or around there. I have tens of millions of streams. I've done shows. Like, I do music. I would obviously like some songs to get more views. It's not like I'm desperate for it, but why wouldn't you? You know, it's like if my videos got like 1 million views and then it got 5 million views, I'm not mad it got more. It's good, right? Everything about it's good, except for maybe like the attention can be negative sometimes on certain things. But when it comes to music, like when I make a new song, I understand the world we live in. Like, I made a new song recently called Working Class Boy, and I didn't do a music video for it. So that obviously hurt its like virality. And I knew that, but I just made it for me and for my fans and for people that, you know, for like working class kids coming up. It was supposed to be an anthem, but I almost knew deep down in my heart, I knew it wasn't going to go like viral because why do things go viral nowadays? They make good dance videos. They make good TikToks. They make good Instagram reels. Think of the independent songs that have blown up in the last 5 years in rap. I could name them all because there's not that many. Everybody else is on a major label. Like Jack Harlow goes, you know, but he's on a major label. He's good, but he's signed. It's Tom McDonald, Bryson Gray. That's really it. You know, Let's Go Brandon, that one guy who made it and then Bryson remade it. Loza Alexander, like Let's Go Brandon. Dax is another one people mention. Let's Go Brandon blew up because it was like a political gimmicky song. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not knocking it. Like, the Loza song was cool. I liked Bryson's version, but it was like, Let's Go Brandon. Everyone's saying that. So then rappers make a song and it blows up because it's a political phrase that's already known. And it's like a built-in gimmick that everybody's like pushing. And then you had the Boycott Target song, Nick Natoli, and I forget who else was on that song. That blew up because I forget what did Target do? They had like trans kids clothes or something along those lines. So they're like, let's boycott Target. So then it blows up. And then you have like, Tom McDonald, even when he doesn't have Ben Shapiro, he makes songs that are like, there's only two genders. I'm white. Don't hate me. I'm white. And it's like I used to really like Tom McDonald. It's not like I dislike him because I think he's a genius. I think he's a genius marketer and I think he's a genius artist, but just he's not on my playlist anymore. And this is not me being hateful. It's just he's done the same thing so many times. I'm just tired of it. Like it keeps working though. So it's like if it's working, why stop doing it? But it's like he's made the same song like 50 times and no one seems to notice. That he's just like, I'm white. And the first time I heard it, I was like, yo, white boy or whatever. I'm like, that's a dope song. It's a white kid that doesn't hate himself. And then he made it like 50 times. And it's like, I guess some people haven't heard it or they want to hear the same thing over and over and over again. And like even the lines in the Ben Shapiro song, like I don't know, like how many times are you going to rap on the same topic with the same flow, with the same stuff and the same concepts? But like at the same time, like it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I think he's like a marketing genius. It's like, why would I not keep doing this? Like keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over. He's got good videos. He's got good lyrics, good production, and same topic, like I'm white, I'm conservative, like there's two genders, and it's just like keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So marketing wise, I think he's a genius. I think it worked perfectly. I think he knows what he's doing. I think he knows Ben can't rap well, and that's part of why it's shareable. If Ben could rap good, or if someone else could rap better than Ben and it wasn't Ben, it would get less views. People love to hate. People love to share things. People love to react. Tom McDonald knows that. And before I get into what I think about the actual song, I saw someone post like they thought it was suspicious, right? They were like, oh, as soon as Tom McDonald put up this song, everybody reacted to it. They were almost trying to imply that like Tom was up to something, like and it wasn't organic. But here's the thing: if you follow Tom McDonald for years, he's really popular. When he says he has a big song, it's almost always going to be really big. He's done this multiple times. He always goes viral. He's got great production, great visuals. Like everything is on point, and it just breaks the internet often. This is not the first time he's done it to this level, although this might be bigger. So people make reaction videos because they know if they can get their reaction video as soon as Tom drops it, they can get a lot of views on their channel. So it's like as soon as he drops it, you make the reaction video and you get 50. He gets 3 million views. You get 100,000 views off just a reaction video. Then you get 50,000 views. It's like Tom has made a built-in economy. He's made his own reaction economy. I'm going to drop this really good visual. I'm going to drop this topic. You're going to say what you think about it, whether you like it or not. And we're all going to get rich off it. Like he's killing it when it comes to marketing, branding, independent music, hitting the charts. Tom is just like flawless execution. He's got, I think his wife or his girlfriend who makes the video. She's very talented too. Everything's in-house. He's got it made in the shade and he's got the formula down and he just keeps doing it with or without Ben. And that's why I'm just letting people know that's why people react. There's no, in my view, conspiracy about, oh, it's not real. It's real. It's just, it's the same reason when like Trump does something and the left reacts. It's like an economy. Like Trump is an economy in that way. Like he's almost like the Trump of independent rap, where like if Trump does something, the left hates it, the right likes it, the right sells merch, the left cries, and both fundraise. It's like the center of the universe is Donald Trump, and everyone's just grifting off it or trying to make a buck off it. It is what it is. It's the same with Tom. He does that with independent music, and it's brilliant. As far as the song, like I said, I'm not a fan of Ben Shapiro. I don't like his politics. I don't like his news analysis. I think he's a phony, but he's, he could be charming and intelligent when he's on the right topic. I don't like have a seething hate for Ben Shapiro. I do think he's sneaky though, but it's a win for him. Well, what could you really say? He's not a rapper. He hates rap. He thinks it's not real music, and he's going to hit the charts. They might hit the top 100 charts with that. So like, that's a massive win for Ben Shapiro. It's made him like relevant in a genre he doesn't even like. And, like you get put on a song, it's not even what you really do, and it gets huge. Like, yeah, it's a massive W for Ben Shapiro. Like nothing bad for him there. A lot of people are saying with Tom McDonald, I think some people are saying, oh, that's corny. Like he sold out. And it's like, he's been who he is. I realized years ago, like Tom McDonald is not who I want him to be. He's himself. And I read a Rolling Stone interview where he was like wearing a mask during COVID, and he made the interviewer wear a mask, and he thought it was lame to make songs about Kyle Rittenhouse. So it's like, I don't really think Tom McDonald is who people think he is. And I'm not hating on him. I I think he's a marketing genius, and I think he's a great rapper. But I think conservatives think he's like one of them, and I think he's like, I'm not going to say an opportunist, but I think he's like a branding genius. So it's like he's in his house wearing a mask, like saying, Kyle, you shouldn't make songs about Kyle Rittenhouse. Yet he's coming out here like, I'm white, I'm conservative. And like boomers are like, take my money, you know? So I'm not saying he's fake, but it's like, I would never thought he would be making a reporter wear a mask. And, you know, like he doesn't like songs about Kyle Rittenhouse, but he makes songs with Ben Shapiro. So, you know, I think he's just like a master marketer, and I'm not even sure who he is. Is he like super conservative? Maybe, but he might not be. You know what I'm saying? Like you think he is because he makes all this music, but he might be just seeing an opportunity and striking gold. He's Canadian, so he might be like a Canadian conservative. You know how they are up there. Like the conservatives are more liberal in Canada just naturally because it has a different dynamic. So he might be like a Canadian conservative where he's white, he doesn't hate himself. You know, he's like kind of conservative, but he's also like kind of liberal because he's like, you know, he might be that type of person. Someone said Jelly much. I'm literally giving him props. If I was jealous, I'd be like, it sucks, I hate him. But I'm literally like, he's a marketing genius. He's good at rapping. And, you know, it's just as far as like Ben Shapiro rapping, I would never put that on my playlist. I thought it was corny, but like I get why he did it. If I was being jealous and hateful, I could have just shit on it the whole time. I literally spent 95% of this entire analysis complimenting him and saying that I thought it was like a really smart move, and his haters are elevating his music. But no, you know, it's an interesting concept. I'm not going to say like he's like Trump because he's not, but I see the similarities of like, you know, Trump says the same 5 things over and over and over again, and I'm tired of it, but it works. You know, if it's not broken, why fix it? So I think that's like with him. I liked his music like years ago, and I when I first heard him, I thought it was very just like honest music. I like the lyrics, I like the content, but then it's like, you know, 15 songs later, I felt like I obviously if you believe these things, or if you say you believe these things, it's gonna be all you're gonna have similar content if that's what you believe. But I just felt like once I heard that white boy song and like the I'm like conservative song or whatever, I just felt like he's made the same song like 100 times. So, but why stop if people like it? Like, I'm not going to put it on my playlist, but I'm not going to sit around and hate on it. It's like he knows how to get attention. He knows how to hit number one, and God bless him. Someone said you're simping for Canadians. When I talk, I guess everyone hears what they want to hear. Like some people think I'm simping for him. People think I'm hating him. Like, why is it? I could say something down the middle, and then everyone just makes up their own thing. I'm not simping for Canadians. I'm an analyst. I'm not a hater. I'm not sitting here to like cry about like he's not like, you know, he's not hurting me or anything. It's like his music. It is what it is. I'm not simping for Canadians. I'm just saying their politics are further left than American politics. Like the Conservative Party in Canada is not as conservative as the American Conservative Party at least pretends to be. So that's not simping. That's just like honest. That's how it is. I'm not Canadian. I'm not a Canadian conservative. I'm literally just saying what I think they are, but I'm not, and that's not everyone. And when it comes to music and stuff, I mean, I want to end on this note because it's not just Tom. I mean, I once again, I think it was a brilliant execution of a like a gimmick to use Ben Shapiro, and it worked to perfection. You think he thinks that Ben Shapiro's as good as a rapper as like Kendrick Lamar? Everyone knows it's Ben Shapiro. Like that was the gimmick, and it worked to perfection. He knows what he's doing. He'll keep doing it, and he'll continue to have success. I wish him luck. On that note, as a musician, you can't sit and play the victim and be like, oh no, that's just how it is. Like if you want to get a lot of views, you got to figure out how to make something that makes people react to you. It's just the truth, whether it's good or bad or yes or no. There's pros and cons to everything. It's like if you make a song that people don't care about, nobody's going to listen to it. If you make a good song, but you don't know how to market it, nobody's going to hear it. If you make a great song, but it doesn't have like an angle to dance to or to react to, then it's not going to work. So I knew Working Class Boy was not going to be that big because it's not that type of song. But it's like, you know, if I really want to get that type of attention, I have to do something different, you know, and this is not me complaining. It just is what it is. For me, I don't make all my money with music. So I don't need a hit or else I'm going to go out of business or something. Like I made that song purposely the way it was. And I like, you know, I hopefully it'll be timeless and inspire a lot of working class kids. But when it comes to when it comes to like, if I wanted to get like 20 million streams on a song, I think I have to make a gimmick like that, and that's not either. You got to do something really, 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 really good, like Oliver Anthony, where it's just so powerful that you want to like cry, or you got to just like do something like people want to like laugh at you or react to. It's like if you, Tom's his like his tattoos help him a lot too. It's like I think he'd be successful without his tattoos. Like I don't think his tattoos made him successful. But when you see a white kid that's all tatted up, it kind of adds an extra element of like, oh, I got to watch that. Am I going to hate it? Am I going to like it? And it's the same with like Tekashi 6ix9ine. The press loves Tekashi 6ix9ine, who's like tatted up, got 69 tattoos or whatever, because it's like they always get clicks off of them. So there's little things kind of makes people want to share, write stories about you. Can Roseanne Barr rap? She wants me to write her a rap song. I actually did write. I literally wrote Roseanne a rap song 4 years ago. I was just thinking that today. I was like, maybe we should do a song. That would be funny. But yeah, it is what it is. Like, it's not worth complaining about. It's just like, as an artist, I think and this is good advice too, because I think when I was struggling like 10, 15 years ago, I always like felt bad for myself, like a victim, the victim mentality that everyone says to like get rid of. When you're like, oh, hone into who you are and what you do and stop complaining. Like, Ben Shapiro's not stopping you from being successful. Tom McDonald's not stopping you from being successful. I'm not stopping you from being successful. So if you want to do it your own way, you got to figure out how to do it. And it's like these days, like you got to do something that's a standout, like, T-Pain singing Ozzy Osbourne. That's a standout moment. The gun drummer, I love that guy. The gun drummer shooting drums, but he's shooting it with his gun. He's playing the drums with his gun to twist his song. He's a fast rapper. Like, it like is a lot of competition. You got to stand out one way or another nowadays. And I think if you're an artist and you want to get attention, you gotta stand out. You got to do something amazing or crazy or weird or super stupid, and everyone's gonna, react to it. Like that's just what it is. And as an upcoming artist, it's just like, what do you want? For me, I don't necessarily want attention. Like if you ask me, I already get recognized almost everywhere I go. So like I don't want to get more famous. Like and I'm not bragging. I'm just saying like I've probably been recognized like 200 times in the last like year or two, which is fine. It's not a bad thing. But like, do I want more attention? Not really. Like this is good enough. I would rather more money than more attention, to be honest. If you could say, would you rather 100 million more people know who you are or have like, $5 million more dollars, like the money? And it's not because I'm selfish. It's just like, what does attention do? Like at a certain point, I think it drives you crazy and you can't do anything. So it's like, I'm not looking for attention, and I don't want everybody to talk about me. It's kind of weird, honestly. Like it's very stressful. Like, like now Tom McDonald's in an even bigger spotlight. A lot of people are going to love him. A lot of people are going to hate him. He's going to make a fortune and people are going to talk about him. And, he's ready for it because he's built and he's done this a few times. But like, it's not all fun and games. People could be like, oh, I want that. Do you though? Do you want everybody to talk about you? Do you want everyone to scrutinize you? Do you want everyone to look into everything you've ever done and to say things about you? It's very stressful. So I actually like don't want more attention. I'd rather just have more money. But sometimes you need to get attention to get money. And like, in order to have an impact, you need your message to get across one way or another. But at this point in my life, it's like, I'm not out here desperately trying to get attention. And I'm not saying Tom's doing that. I'm just saying I don't, it's not a top priority. When it comes to any attention and clout too, it's like, if you can't handle it, it'll destroy you. Like you look at the Island Boys, like the Island Boys were on top of the world. They were those tatted, the Island Boys, and now they're like making out or like they're like doing incest videos or something. Like, talk about like they went from top to bottom because they couldn't handle the attention, and they just like spiraled trying to be relevant. You look at people like Michael Jackson, Conor McGregor, like your uber famous people. Like Michael Jackson was like the most famous person in the world. Conor McGregor is like one of the most famous people ever. You see them kind of start to go wild, and I'm not shitting on Michael Jackson because obviously I know what they said he did, but I don't even know if I believe them. I think he was weird, but I think they tried him in court and he never got caught. And I don't know. I think the documentary was kind of like planted, but anyway, on that sort of stuff, like I'm just saying he was weird. Like, Conor McGregor's kind of like wilding out, doing weird stuff, and kind of, it's like just getting so much attention can be like brutal. Like, and you just like lose your mind sometimes. But yeah, God bless, Ben and Tom. That's my opinion. Not a huge fan of the song, but I'm not a hater, and the hate is what's fueling it. People are sharing it because they either think it's funny or weird. But that's why he did it. Like, he's a marketing master. He knows exactly how to get his song viral. And what does that tell you? That I haven't had a song sent to me by that many people that people like, only when they're reacting to like weird stuff. Even it became a news story. I wanted to talk about it today. So it's, there's something to learn there about marketing. But yeah, I mean, to each their own. It's just, I'm more interested in the marketing angle of it than the song. To be honest, I didn't even listen to it for more than 20 seconds. But I like to know how things work, and I do really like marketing, honestly. It's interesting to me. All right, we're gonna get on to the next story real quick. Jean Carroll, who apparently is totally awesome, right? We all love Jean Carroll, right? Hey guys, I don't want to get sued. Anomaly, take a sip of your coffee if you like Jean Carroll, because she sues everybody that says she's great. She's the smartest lady I've ever. No, I'm just. But anyway, yeah, it's like she's the last person I want to talk about now, because apparently she's got the greatest lawyers on planet Earth, or Trump's got the worst lawyers, or the courts are rigged. I'm gonna just read real quick. And you know what? I get why people like Trump. Like, obviously, I get why people like Trump, but like, I get the whole like we need revenge, because it's like, dude, this guy just can't get a break out here. Like, there's a lot of things I don't like about Trump. The Jean Carroll thing was not really up there for me, and the fact that he's got to pay $83.3 million. Apparently, someone said he could pay out of his campaign funds, which would be crazy. I don't know if that's true, but it probably is. If that's true, it's like, if that's true, you guys are giving to his campaign so he could pay these bogus fees, or totally real fees or whatever. Like, what? Like, this is such a clown show. And yeah, I mean, I've seen the video of Jean Carroll on Anderson Cooper, and let's just say it was weird. It was very weird. $83.3 million. It's crazy. I get why. I get it. I get why people are like, this is crazy. We need him back in the White House. Like, I get that vibe. I almost wanted to feel that way off that story, because I was like, that's ridiculous. But this begs the question, right? Because with Trump, I have to say this. Is he getting destroyed because the liberal courts just hate him? Highly likely, if not guaranteed. Or does his lawyer suck? Is it a possibility that he has a shitty lawyer who cares more about her fashion than she does about doing a good court case? And I say this because, one thing woke me up when, like, you have to understand, whenever Trump gets like persecuted by the FBI or a court, everybody on the right just comes to his defense. Everybody just says he's innocent, right? And everybody just says they're crazy. And I always believe this, because why wouldn't you? Like, it seems mostly true. What made me realize that the right doesn't actually look into this stuff was when I heard that the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago and they went through like Melania's stuff, and it's disgusting. I think it's insane. But then I listened to Donald Trump, and I was like expecting him to say something really smart. And what I heard was one of the dumbest things that made me think, is he purposely doing this stuff? Because that was so stupid. I know people are going to get triggered off that. Let me explain myself. They said to him, you just got raided by the FBI, whatever. And they said, like, why didn't you hand over these classified documents back to the FBI? Because they gave Trump an allotted time slot to give them back before they were going to raid him. And Trump said something along the lines of like, I was really busy. I was on tour. I was traveling. I didn't have the time. And I'm like, is this guy purposely not handing back documents to purposely get raided to then play the victim? No joke. Like, I know people are going to be like, oh, you're just hating. I'm not hating. Listen to what I just said. I had Trump's back 100%. And I'm like, yo, they're corrupt. But then I'm like, okay, if they gave you a couple months to hand back classified documents that, let's just say you didn't take by mistake or you took by mistake, whatever. They're like, all right, give them back. You took them, give them back. And he doesn't give them back. And his excuse is he just didn't have the time. I just didn't have the time. Like, what? It almost feels like everybody on the right is going to defend Trump because the left is insane. But they don't even realize that Trump and his team may very well be idiots. I'm going to play this clip, and I'm not saying she's dumb or anything. God bless this lady. She's beautiful. She's smart. She's successful. God bless her. I'm sure we'd get along. But I've never seen a lawyer hang out with their client as much as I see Alibaba hang out with Trump. She's always looking sexy. She's always, looking like a fashion show. She's at every event with him. It's like, when have you seen a lawyer just like, double as like a model that's just at like Trump events all the time, like a fangirl? I'm not trying to be a dick. Here's the video of her on PBD saying she'd rather be hot than smart. And then here's kind of her response to the whole E. Jean Carroll thing. And I'm not saying this is true because I don't know. It's just like, is the left out to get Trump? Obviously. But is he an idiot? And is he just like hiring someone that's not doing a good job? I think the chances of that are higher than people will ever admit, because everyone knows no one's going to care. They'll just make excuses regardless. So here's the clip, and then I'm going to respond.
Somebody said to me, Alina, would you rather be smart or pretty? And I said, oh, easy. Pretty. I can fake being smart.
Before he takes the stand to defend himself, Ms. Haba, tell me the questions you're going to ask in open court and tell me exactly what he's going to respond. And then edited my questions, edited the response he was allowed to give. And guess what my client did? He took the stand. He abided by the rules of this corrupt system that I have seen. We will immediately appeal. We will set aside that ridiculous jury. And I just want to remind you all of one thing. I will continue with President Trump to fight for everybody's First Amendment right to speak. Everybody's a right to defend themselves when they are wrongfully accused and to be able to say, I didn't do it.
Apparently he lost the first defamation suit to E. Jean Carroll for like $1 million or not that much money. And then he's just firing off True Socials about her, where it's like, I'm not saying he can't do that, but it's like, if you lose a small defamation suit, right? And then your response to losing the small defamation suit is just firing off more True Socials about it. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like, this is probably a bad analogy, but it's like if you lost like a restraining order case and your response to the restraining order case was to like show up everywhere she was and like, First Amendment, I'm allowed to do this. And it's like, well, you lost the restraining order case, so you're kind of like not, and I support Trump's right to the First Amendment, but it's like he lost an earlier defamation case and his response is just firing off True Socials, talking more shit about E. Jean Carroll. It's like, wouldn't you not do that if you lost the defamation case, or are you just trying to get in another case? That's where I'm like. And then he's got this lawyer where, she's beautiful. She's probably very smart, but it just seems like she loves attention, like she's everywhere. Like I don't need my lawyer like dressing sexy at like Mar-a-Lago 15 times a year at every conservative event all over. Like, it's like clear that she's like an influencer. Like, it's like, I see her as like, I've never seen a lawyer do as many like photo ops and, stuff as that. So, but it's fine. I don't really care. Like, I'm fine with her doing that. It's just, I do ask the question that no one will ask because everybody's enthralled in like the thing of it. It's like, is she the best lawyer, or like, are they doing something wrong? Is it possible that they're dropping a ball and the left is corrupt, or are we just total victims? I don't know. Like I said before, I go into the next segment, which responds to this, or I would say relates to this. I never once questioned Trump or his lawyers or anything. I always just said the left is bad. The FBI is going after Trump for political reasons, and he's like a total victim. Like, I've completely bought into it, right? The thing that snapped me out of that, realizing that Trump does a lot of stupid shit, not saying he deserves this, but he does a lot of stupid shit, was when they said, why didn't you hand your classified documents back? You had 2 months to give them back and they wouldn't have raided you. And Trump literally said along the lines of, I don't know, I was traveling, I was busy. Like, if the FBI hits you up and says, oh, just give me the classified documents back, you have 2 months, and then, it is what it is. And Trump goes, no. And then they like raid it and take the documents. And then they're like, why didn't you give them back? And he goes, I was busy. I was on tour. I don't know. Like, you think Trump doesn't have assistants and lawyers and managers and housekeepers? He has all those. He could have given them back if he wanted to. It's almost like he purposely didn't give them back to get raided, to play the victim. Once I saw that, I don't know what's going on. Because it's like, if you lose a defamation case and then you just start doing the same thing that you just lost in court, it's not to say that you're wrong, but you could do an appeal and whatever, but like, you just lost in a court doing that and you did it times 15. Like, you want to go back to court. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you get a restraining order on you and then your response to the restraining order is showing up at that person's house 15 times in a month, you want to go back to court. You might think that you shouldn't have had the restraining order, but it's like, that's what he's doing with everything. So it's like, I don't know if he's stupid. I don't know if he's in on it. I don't know if he just can't shut up, but like, it's like, I'm out of the world of like, oh my gosh, like, is this lawyer the best lawyer? Who knows? I don't think anyone cares, because there's a whole like victim mentality around this stuff. So overall, I personally think Trump is much more sane than E. Jean Carroll. I personally don't think he should have ever lost a defamation case. If somebody accuses you of doing something and you defend yourself, or you say that it never happened and you make fun of that person, that I don't believe that's defamation. I don't think Trump's guilty of defamation. I'm not saying he's guilty at all. I'm just like, I just think, as much as the left is horrible, it's like, I'm not saying she is, but it's like, if you go into a court case with a terrible lawyer, you could lose a winnable case. This has happened thousands of times. Like, is she the best lawyer? I don't know. Maybe she is, and maybe it's just the left. Maybe she's not. Maybe the angle that they took on this case was stupid. Maybe it was smart. I don't know enough about law, but I've seen enough to know that Trump and his side, they know they could just play the victim. So it's like, whether they win or lose, they'll probably just get you to pay for their legal fees. I lost, Patriots, give me all your money, and then people will pay for his court fees anyway. So I don't know if they really care as much, but I'm sure Trump doesn't want to lose a defamation suit. And I definitely felt like everyone else when I read that. I was like, that's crazy. He should not have to pay her that much. But William said, I'll pay. You and millions of Patriots, you absolutely will pay. He knows that. So I don't think he really cares that much. He knows you'll pay. On that note, I wanted to talk about this, and then I'll answer some questions. It's like the victim economy that I kind of see playing out. And I talked about it briefly in my last video, but it goes back to this ancient, I don't know if I would call it parable would be the right word, saying, phrase, story, but the old story of Boy Who Cried Wolf, right? The Boy Who Cried Wolf, it was like a story of a boy who kept saying that a wolf was coming, and he was lying and trying to trick his friends. And then a wolf came and I think killed him or something, and no one believed him, or killed somebody. And, the moral of the story, I know I told that terribly because I don't remember it completely, but I just remember the moral of the story was, don't lie, because then when you tell the truth, no one will believe you. It's a great story. There's a reason it's probably lasted for thousands of years, is because it's true. It's like, if you lose your believability, then when you really need people to believe you, they won't, if you lose their respect and trust. It's a great story. I think the right, and this is not saying everybody's fake or anything, but ever since 2020, the Republican Party has fueled off the victim economy. There's not very many wins that they're getting. They make more money off of losses. When they lose the election and January 6th goes awry, they raised $250 million. Carrie Lake has been a superstar. She's like the right-wing Stacey Abrams. She's never won, but they like her because she lost, and she talks and she says the election was stolen. Okay, cool. I'm not hating on Mike Lindell. He's right 85% of the time. 15% of the time he's lying his ass off, but nobody cares because he's Mike Lindell and he represents us. And it's like, the right, I think a lot of these people, they know, and I'm not being hateful, I'm just being analytical. They know that the benchmark of trust in the Republican Party right now, in the MAGA movement, is, are you loyal to Trump? Right? That's like the benchmark. DeSantis, it didn't matter what he did or what he said. Are you loyal to Trump? If you're loyal to Donald Trump, we like you. If you're not loyal to Donald Trump, we don't care if you're right or wrong. Go away. That's the benchmark of MAGA. So a lot of people are taking advantage of that, and no one cares because they're naive or they play along to it. So I feel like it's like this new religion where if you're loyal to the guy, everyone will like you, and it doesn't matter what you say. Like if you put up Mike Lindell and DeSantis on a stage, right? They both have pros and cons. They're both likable in some ways. DeSantis is a governor. Mike Lindell sells pillows and likes Trump. They both have their pros and cons, right? But if you put DeSantis and Mike Lindell on a stage, it's not about who says what's right or wrong. Most Trump supporters would like Mike Lindell more than DeSantis, no matter what was said, just based on his loyalty. So I believe that a lot of people in this movement are taking advantage of your trust, and they've become the boy who cried wolf. They know that if you're just loyal to him, everyone will believe you no matter what you say. And as long as you just say the left, people will always play the victim. So see, even people now, people are screaming, typing in all caps, saying, shut up, anomaly. I'm not raising my voice. I'm not getting angry. I'm not being hateful about it. I'm literally just talking about like basic like thought process and stuff. But someone said you're all gibberish. Look at the seething hate that's coming out of people right now simply for having a conversation. And the moral of this story is I'm not saying I'm gonna be calm. I'm gonna be cool with this. I'm not gonna stoop to these people's level that are going nuts right now. I don't think the left is honest. I don't think that I don't not think that Trump's getting set up. I think what they're doing to him is crazy. Like, I'm not giving the left a pass. I'm not saying they're like rational. I'm not saying that Joe Biden's good. Like, I agree with you on all of that. But what I'm saying is, just like the boy who cried wolf, if you're not trying to be honest, and if you think you have this immunity from it because it's like, well, I like Trump, so I don't have to tell the truth all the time. Well, I like Trump, so I can do that. And that's what's happening to these people. And they know that you're going to act this way. So I feel like they're abusing your trust, and nobody cares because it's not about telling the truth. I mean, all you have to do is look at when DeSantis ran against Trump, take your emotion out of it, take your ego out of it, take your bias out of it, and just observe. You could like Trump more than DeSantis, makes total sense. But like, DeSantis would say something about Trump and people would freak out. And I would literally just watch, like Jack Posobiec would tweet something and would be like, yo, can you believe DeSantis said this? And I'm like, all right, I gotta watch this. And I watched it, and literally DeSantis just told the truth about Trump. I'm not asking you to vote for him. I'm not saying he's better than Trump. I'm not asking you to trust him. I'm not asking you to like him. I'm just like, objectively, that 2 minutes he was just telling the truth. But he's wrong because he's not loyal to Trump. It's not about the truth. Your loyalty to a guy matters more than reality. That's become the movement, whether people admit it or not. So all of these people around him, they're right about a lot of stuff, but they know that they can just tap into the victim economy, and them getting persecuted is actually better than them winning, because it's like, if something happens, they tweet about it, they freak out about it, and people just throw money at them. You get what I'm saying? It's like, oh my gosh, this happened. Oh, I got arrested. Well, let me just chop up my suit and sell it for, $6,000. Oh my gosh, I just lost this court case. Let me get my supporters to pay for it. Oh my gosh, we just had the election stolen. Let's raise $250 million. It's not even debatable. It's like saying that the military industrial complex doesn't like war. It's like, maybe not, but they profit off it. I'm not saying everybody in MAGA likes this stuff happening, but they know it's a cash cow. And I know for a fact that most people that fund them and fuel them, they'd rather them be wrong but loyal than right and honest. So it's like, it's become the boy who cried wolf. And now, I personally think that I hope Trump wins because of the border. And I think if he just like stops yelling at like, Kayleigh McEnany on his True Social, like, he could probably win the election if he just like why would you yell at the only employee who did a good job? Like, Trump, everybody he hired sucked except for Kayleigh. She was like the only good employee, and Trump's mad at her now because she did like analysis on. She was like, for the general, maybe Trump should do this, and she's like, shut up. It's like, I don't know what he's doing, but anyway, it's like, hopefully he could win. Biden sucks. It's possible, but it feels like a lot of people around him, and even that, it's like they know that regardless of what happens, they could just play the victim. So they're just like leaning into like that world. Like, okay, you get what I'm saying? And they don't feel like they need to have to tell the truth, because they know as long as you just say the left, I'm not saying this happened for the E.G. and Carroll thing, but like, let's just say like you, instead of getting a good lawyer, you hired like a crackhead. I'm not saying this happened. I'm just giving an example. Trump hired a crackhead off the street to be his lawyer, right? That lawyer loses the defamation case because they're a crackhead. Do you think anybody in MAGA would even know that? No, they'd be like, oh, he's the victim. Like they know that they don't have to actually get results because if they lose anything, that it's actually good for them and that everyone with no curiosity is going to look into it. They're just going to blame the left and everyone else. It's like they know this. So, I'm seeing more and more of this where it's not even a Trump or a left or a right thing. It's like a ego thing where you saw with the journalists on the left, they're all losing their job now, right? They're all losing their job because they didn't do a good job. And the problem was they had such a huge ego. I work for Washington Post. I work for BuzzFeed. I work for Sports Illustrated. I'm so much better than these influencers. And they weren't. And they didn't evolve and they didn't make good content and they're not impressive and they can't work outside the industry. And they're all losing their jobs now. But it's because they just lied and they had this false sense of I'm superior just because of who I am. And that doesn't work long term, right? That's why you're seeing hundreds or thousands of journalists go unemployed. They were never any good though. Like take them out of where their job, they're nobodies. They get the power from these organizations and they're such dickheads. I'm seeing a similar psychology in MAGA. It's like they know being loyal to Trump makes them popular, famous, and rich, and they don't have to necessarily tell the truth, just enough truth that people realize that they're not left wing or they like Trump. And now they're abusing their power. They're saying and doing whatever they can, and sometimes when they're not relevant, they find some sort of like victim mentality consciousness in order to like regain popularity because nobody cares about them. Like I'm seeing certain stuff like that where it's like I'm not saying the left isn't bad, but this is like the world that is building around Trump. And I think that these people are getting too egotistical, too smug, too self-righteous just because they like Trump. And they don't feel like they even have to tell the truth all the time because they're just better than the left and they're loyal to Trump and they're not DeSantis. And I think it's all eventually going to come crashing down. Whether Trump wins or loses the election, I mean, anyone's possible. Him and Biden, geriatric party. But I mean, eventually people are going to see this stuff. It's going to come crashing down and they're going to be like, damn, I didn't see that coming. But my audience will be like, oh, I saw that coming. The one guy's been freaking out in the comments for like 50 minutes, bro. Relax, my guy. Someone mentioned to me on a stream, I think it was Akira the Don. He said, you were around in 2016. You don't really see anybody that was around in 2016. He said Cernovich is still around on Twitter, but like Milo is big. He's nowhere to be found. Like a lot of people that were huge in 2016, they're not like relevant anymore, right? And I don't care. It's like everybody to each their own, like, but it's like who stands the test of time? Who can be relevant in 8 years? Like Tucker Carlson had a huge role in media journalism, but then he went independent and he's still relevant. Bill O'Reilly had a huge career, possibly even bigger than Tucker Carlson's. He got off Fox News. He's not relevant anymore. So it's like, I'm not competing with these people because I'm competing with myself. I'm still relevant 8-9 years later. I'm still able to run my business. I'm still able to do what I want to do. And that's because of what I like, I'm not a gimmick. I'm not just here for a short time. Like I'm trying to do it the right way. A lot of people, I mean, I don't know if I'll ever get credit for this, but a lot of people, and I'm not just talking about average people, not that it matters, but like I'm talking about these like journalists and influencers and authority figures. 99% of them were wrong about COVID. 99% of them were wrong in April, May, June, July when it mattered. And I have one of the best track records, if not the best track record of being right almost every step of the way. And I'm not asking for favors or anything. It's just like, why? And I don't care, but it's just like Brett Weinstein. I saw him tweet recently and he said, I was wrong about masks. I was wrong about this. And I came around and it's like, it's okay to be wrong. And I think he's right. And I think Brett Weinstein seems like a nice guy. And I think that shows what America's really about and what the world is really about. Everybody's willing to forgive. Everybody's not trying. Like if you come to the light and you start telling the truth, people love that you flipped. They're like, thank you for waking up. Like people are that shows, I think it's not just Christian, but that's a Christian trait of like forgiving. It's like, we're not going to hold you responsible for your shitty opinion 6 months ago. Thank you for telling the truth now. It's a beautiful thing. With that being said, It's like, why are all these like COVID experts that are getting all the podcast features? They weren't even right when it actually mattered. Like, and it's like some of them were pharmaceutical CEOs that were wrong the whole time. And now they're taking the lane of like a DeSantis or something like a David Icke or something like insert name here who was right a year or 2 years before them. And it's like they're basically like getting to be the guy that's like, I'm the guy. And it's like but you weren't the guy though. It's like it's just interesting to me where it's I don't care, but it's like, you know, I think enough people see what I did, but I just find it weird. It's like now there's like certain people that are kind of like doing their like COVID. I was the right COVID guy, but it's like they weren't even really though. But I don't know where that comes from or why. Maybe it's just networking in their friend group. But when it comes to this sort of stuff, I do personally believe in the MAGA movement. You're going to see a huge crash eventually. Trump could win. Trump could lose. Like, I'm not saying he's going to lose. Like, Biden sucks, but like these people are not who you think they are, and they've gotten way too into themselves, and they don't tell the truth a lot. And eventually, everyone's going to find out, and it's going to be like astronomical. But the only reason they get away with it now is because the left is so crazy, and it's like team sports competition fighting. That they can kind of like use that as a shield, the same way the left can use it as a shield. Like both parties kind of they like each other. It's like, oh, if you persecute me and I'll persecute you, and then we'll both raise money off it. It's like, lawyer battles and stuff. Like, I personally believe Trump and Gavin Newsom are friends. I mean, just look at all the similarities between them, their families, the fact that Trump said he won't hit Gavin Newsom because Gavin Newsom's nice to them. Like, does Gavin Newsom really hate Donald Trump? Does Trump really hate Gavin Newsom? Maybe, or maybe they're just politicians, and it's like, you wear the red flag, I'll wear the blue flag, we'll fight, and then we'll drink wine, backstage. It kind of is starting to seem like that to me. But I'll answer some comments. One thing particularly, I didn't look too into it because I just don't live in this reality anymore. But Carrie Lake came out and she said that she had this audio recording of someone trying to bribe her out of running, right? And the audio is like some Republican guy from Arizona asking her to run for a different seat, or suggesting that maybe she should run for a different seat a different year and let someone else run this time, right? And talking about the options there. And apparently she said that she recorded him years ago. And when I listened to it, right, like it sounded like someone who knew they were recording. Like, definitely, I think Carrie Lake recorded herself. So when he asked certain questions, she was like acting like very self-righteous, like, I'm a patriot, I would never do that. She's talking that way because she's recording herself. You know what I'm saying? It's like if someone asks me a question and I'm like acting like way more animated, it's like I know it's being recorded. It's the same as when Crowder recorded Jeremy Boring. Like, you could tell Crowder knew he was recording himself because he was acting real slippery, and like Jeremy Boring had no idea. And like the way Crowder was like recording it, like he knew he was trying to like frame it in a certain way. You understand? That's the vibe I got from the Carrie Lake thing. But I'm like, whatever. I don't like let her handle her own stuff. It doesn't really bother me. She went on some show. My friend sent me a link, and she said the reason she released that now, because she recorded it years ago, was because she didn't listen to the record. She hasn't heard the recording until now, and that's why she released it, which goes against what she said on PBD podcast like a month or two ago, where she said like she was talking about it then. So it's like, how did you not hear it for years if you were talking about it months ago on podcasts? Like it, but this is the thing with MAGA. It's like they don't care. Like, all you have to do is say, I'm a victim, I'm this, now you're irrelevant. They throw money at you. It's like there's no scrutiny, there's no curiosity, there's no journalism, there's no analysis. It's all victim mentality, it's all hero worship, and that's the culture, right? It's the same thing with the music industry. I'm not complaining about it, I'm just observing it. It's like Tom McDonald releasing a song with Ben Shapiro, like that's gonna hit the charts. A rapper saying you're the shit, you're not the shit, you're not even a fart, that's gonna hit the charts. It's just the world we live in. That's not the genre that I'm going for. And but I'm also not going to sit around and hate on it, because it is what it is. In order to be successful, you can't just react and hate on everybody else. You have to be at least like somewhat understanding, and then find your own lane. And if you're going to react, then just react, but know your role. It's like being being a journalist or being like a critic of music. What's that weird guy, the liberal guy's name, Anthony Fontana? He's like the internet's biggest music critic, right? Hey, nothing wrong with that, even though he's annoying. But has he ever made music? You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I don't care what he says. But has he ever made a good song? If not, who cares? Like with me, I make music. So why would I hate on another song when I could make a song? Like I'm not going to sit and hate on a song of Ben Shapiro. He's not a rapper. And Tom McDonald is a rapper who's having a lot of success. Like, how lame would it be if I just sat hating on him the whole time when I could literally make my own song? Like, I'm on the field. I make music. I'm not, So I just find it fascinating when people are just like professional critics of something, but they've never done it. So I'm not trying to be that. I'm just talking about it. So, with the Carrie Lake thing, I wish her luck. It's just like, I know everyone's going to believe everything she says with no scrutiny. Me, I don't, but I'm not, it's not like I hate her. It's not like I think she's bad. It's just like, I know what's going on. It's the same reason a rapper says, I'm not the shit. You're a little fart. It's like, that sells a lot. It's the same reason Tom McDonald knows exactly what he's doing. He puts Ben Shapiro. That's the Trump movement. It's a victim economy. The money is in playing the victim. The economy is in milking Republicans dry. And they'll never think about it. They'll just throw their money at you. So that's just not my lane, and I'm not mad at it. It's just I observe it. Someone said, what's going on? Oh, okay. Look how mad people are. It's insane. It's like I'm not saying you're a terrible person. I'm not saying to not throw your money at Carrie Lake and Trump. I'm saying to go do it. Just like go do that and don't watch this. I'm not mad at it. I'm not competing with them. I'm not in the same world. Like, I don't even consider what I do the same. It's like making reggae music and then like getting mad at like jazz. It's both music, but I don't do what they do. I'm not trying to run for office. I would vote for Carrie Lake over a liberal. I'm just giving you my opinion. You know what I'm saying? If you can't take it, I'm not mad. I think maybe something's going on. VBDC said, honestly, it's better than Alex Stein's feature verse. No offense to any comedy clown rappers out there. No hate, wink face. I mean, you could try to start a beef with Alex. That might get some traction, VBDC. Are you talking about the one on Bryson's song, Alex's verse, or a different one? To be clear, I didn't even listen to the full Ben Shapiro verse. I listened to like 5 seconds and I turned it off. I didn't even listen to the song. I was like, I get it. I don't want to hear it. I'm not going to like it, but I'm not going to, it's just like, I drove to the mountains to ski yesterday. I listened to my soundtrack. You know what I'm saying? I'm jamming out to my jams. I'm not, VBDC, you're on my playlist, bro. I got Stay Cool on there, and I got Fundemic featuring Anomaly, obviously. I don't put that stuff on my playlist, that other stuff. Lakiva with the $20 super chat said, if Trump was modest enough, do you think he could end our counterfeiting monetary system by choosing Dr. Shiva as his running mate? That is a loaded question, but that's a loaded question right up my alley. Thank you for the super chat. I don't think Trump not working with Dr. Shiva has anything to do with modesty. I believe that Donald Trump is kind of like owned and controlled by the banks, and I don't think Donald Trump is even trying to do anything there. Like, Trump is not Ron Paul. Trump is more like Mitt Romney than Ron Paul. Trump talks like Ron Paul, but he governs like Mitt Romney. Trump is not who people want him to be. So, Dr. Shiva is a wild boy, but I believe that wild boy Shiva actually cares about stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, wild boy Shiva talks about Zionism. Wild boy Shiva talks about the banking system. Trump is not that guy. Like, he's just not that guy. He's super not that guy. So I don't think it has to do with his modesty. It's just like, he's not that, he's not Ron Paul. He's not David Icke. He's not Dr. Shiva. He's not Milton Friedman. He's not even Javier Milei. That guy's like actually a libertarian. Shiva, I don't think he's running a campaign to get elected. I think he's just like, trying to get his message out there. But yeah, you can't really win a presidential election without money and strategy. You can't just be like talking shit on Twitter and get like, you're going to get under 1% of the vote. But someone said Dr. Fauci's better than Dr. Shiva. Dang, it's a crazy statement. I don't think so. But Someone said you sound like QAnon. How do I sound like QAnon? See, this is why, in my opinion, QAnon is like the ultimate psyop, because not only are they like right about like a lot of stuff, but wrong about a lot of stuff, and they like flip conspiracies on their head. They make this branding that like anything that anyone, like people have said for 20 years, 50 years, like, oh, they're going to do martial law because they pass these executive orders. And when they do martial law, it's a bad thing. QAnon will be like, martial law is a good thing. And then if you talk about martial law, they'll say you're QAnon. It's like the ultimate psyop to cover up actual conspiracies. Like the Federal Reserve was not a QAnon conspiracy theory. It's how the money's run. And like Ron Paul used to talk about it all the time. But like this idea, like, Trump is not that guy. So people just have to make up theories in their head to like make themselves feel good about it. Like even Luke from We Are Change. I like Luke, but he's okay. But he was like, oh, like he made his like dream list of who Donald Trump was gonna pick. And it's just coping. It's just like cosplay. It's like, oh, Ron Paul for Secretary of Money Supply. And it's like Trump's gonna pick a banker. Are you kidding? He's gonna pick Greenspan or Mnuchin or Jamie Dimon. Like Trump's gonna put the bankers in charge of the bank. Like that's who Trump is. Like he talks like Ron Paul, he governs like Mitt Romney. People haven't figured it out. And, he's surrounded by a lot of grifters and opportunists. I believe that everyone's going to figure it out eventually. I'm not angry about it. I'm not fighting you. I'm not saying Biden's good. I'm just observing. Let me see. Someone said, obviously that person doesn't watch you. Yeah, possibly. Or they just do and they don't. Let's read a few comments. Did I hear about the Islamic attack on Edmonton City Hall? Nothing but crickets from mainstream news sources. I have not. Sorry, I've been out of the loop for a day or so, but I'll look into it. I mean, the culture clash is going to be dicey out here. They did a lot of migration and a lot of not assimilating and a lot of dividing and conquering in the media, and it's going to get weird until there's some honest conversations. That's why I try to be honest, because it's like, if you just like act like you can put 15 cultures in a box and everyone's going to get along, like it's not true. It doesn't mean everyone's bad, but it's like, that's what the left tries to do. And then the right just yells civil war. And it's like, I'm trying to de-escalate the situation a little bit because I don't, like the truth is somewhere in the middle. And it's like, if it's true, people will have these conversations in 5 years anyway. So I'm just getting ahead of it. VBDC said, now you got to get Vivek on a feature. He's feeling left out. See, that's a funny point. And like, I was trying to make that point earlier and I'm not mad at it, but it is frustrating when you're trying to make music. If I did a song that was like, I think my song Thought Leader was very like lyrically good. And all I did was get negative press. And then, a bunch of Jewish groups called me anti-Semitic for that song, which was crazy because it was like not that, but whatever. It's like that. I thought that was a lyrically good song, but it doesn't matter. Like lyrically good doesn't matter. If I put Vivek on a song and he was like, you only get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow. My name is Vivek, once in a lifetime, yo. Like that would hit the charts because Vivek is so popular right now. Would that be a better song? No, like literally he could like take a shit on a track and it would probably get more clicks. Or like Ben Shapiro can be like, I'm a nerd. Look at me. Facts don't care about your feelings. Let's go bomb a whole country. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what he said. It's like, and here, like, that's just, and I like, it is what it is. But like, as a musician, it's kind of frustrating, but it's like, what are you going to do? Like, or like, High Res is making like Trump AI music now where he's changing his voice to sound like Trump and making like country music. In my opinion, I don't like it. I think it's not only like blurring the lines of reality, but it's basically like feeding into this like Trump worship stuff. Like it's just like, I follow this account, Citizen Free Press, right? Citizen Free Press, they mean well and they're trying to be like a news aggregate. But whoever runs that account is like so brainwashed by Trump. It's like unbearable. Like he does serious news and he only does news. He doesn't do like opinions. He only does like clips, but then he'll just post like an AI image of like Trump with a cowboy hat on. And he's like, Sheriff Trump to save the day. And it's like, bro, if Trump really wore a cowboy hat and you posted that, I would have no problem with it. But you're literally distorting reality. It's like a cosplay movement. You're making like like a fantasy like AI image of Trump, and you're like Sheriff Trump, and it's like, dude, that's just kind of like weird, especially when you're a news aggregate page that doesn't do that. It's just like people are people are just cashing out. They're cashing out on the cosplay. Like, I get it. Like, Trump obsession, Trump hate, it's all like an economy. There's billions of dollars flying around. Trump merch, lawsuits, you know what I'm saying? Fundraising. It's a cash cow. I'm just not into the AI like idol worship stuff. It's a little weird. When am I debating Destiny? If he contacts me like through the proper channels and wants to debate, I would debate him next week. The last thing I'm doing is dodging a debate with that guy. To be fair, I'm not that familiar with him. I just know he's like the liberal who will debate conservatives. Like, here's the thing. I'm a super nice guy and I'm super easy to talk to if you're nice to me. When people get weird when we debate, I could get weird too. But like, if you notice, like when I'm giving interviews or I'm talking to people, I'm a nice guy. I'll get along with a leftist as long as they're not weird. One time I debated some guy named Nico and he like lost his mind midstream. Like, something with left wingers, sometimes they like can't act normally. I don't know. It's like, hey, let's debate about socialism. Let's debate about capitalism. Let's go over our ideas. And like, he like spiraled and like started like yelling at me. And I was like, and he kept interrupting me. It was so weird. Like, I would literally talk to him like purposely. And I was like, why are you doing that, dude? He did it for like 5 minutes. I was like, are you having like a mental breakdown or something? Like, it was so weird to me where I was like, all right, I don't think Destiny does that though. He seems like a seasoned debater, but it's like, I was like, what's wrong with you guys? Some people really can't handle being challenged. They can't handle like the other opinion. I've already thought about all that stuff. So if someone brings a new idea that I haven't thought of, I like appreciate it. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. But some people, it's like, they like yell to like block it out of their head because they know it's like actually a smart idea. Like, it's this weird, bizarre, like mind like trap. I don't know. It's like people are weird. Someone said, you don't seem like a nice guy. You're nice to Vivek. I don't seem like a nice guy. I'm nice to Vivek. Did you mean I'm not nice to Vivek? I had 20 to 15 minutes after he answered the first question, really like 10 minutes to ask 8 questions that nobody in right-wing media would ask. If Vivek gave me 2 hours, I could have talked in circles extremely nicely with him for 5 hours. But if I'm asking a question and he talks in circles, to me, see, like I think with Vivek, and I'm not bragging, but like, I don't think a lot of people he talks to are that smart. So I think he finally like met a match that was smart enough to know how he operates, where it's like, all right, if you do a 30-minute interview and you're 5 minutes late, and by the time it launches, there's 20 minutes left, and I ask one question and you talk in circles for 10 minutes, he's high IQ. I know it's like, have you ever watched football? It's like, you kneel to run the clock out. It's like, why do they do that at the end of the game? The timeouts. Oh, you don't have timeouts? So let's just kneel. And then the clock runs out. He was trying to run the clock out on the interview. He's smart. He's not a dumb guy. Let me give this guy, I give other guys an hour and a half. Let me give this guy 30 minutes. Let me be 5 minutes late. Let me talk in circles for 10 minutes. And I'm just going to take a knee so he can't ask any questions. He knows what he's doing. So that's why I had to be a little bit more jabby, because I had to get 7 to 9 questions in 10 minutes because he was trying to run the clock out. So if we would have like a 3-hour conversation, then I could have been way chiller. But it's like, either I'm Mr. Nice Guy and he steamrolls over me, or like, he's smart. He's a smart guy. He knows how to like tell you something that's not really what it was and make you think it is what it was. Like, he's like, oh, it's satire. And it's like, it's not, but the audience doesn't know that, so I would have loved to have had more time, but I did what I had to do. I would definitely rather be a little blunt and a little rude, but ask the questions, than be Mr. Nice Guy, ask no questions. So that was, that's what it was. Someone said that's whack. He gave you 30 minutes, but he gave Andrew Schultz 2 hours. But here's the thing. I'm not a victim. Andrew Schultz is a bigger podcast, right? He's a bigger podcast. It makes more sense to give Andrew Schultz more time. He's given smaller people more time. He didn't have to come on at all, so I'll take it. I'm not going to play the victim on the time, but it's like, that's what I had to do. Yeah, he'll give more time to other people, but it's, he doesn't owe me anything. He didn't have to come. He didn't, like, I'm glad that he came. I'd rather him come for 20 minutes than 0. So it was what it was. Someone said you're too nice sometimes. Appreciate it. I don't think so, but maybe. I think I've gotten a little too mean recently. I'm trying to get nicer again. But here's the thing. Kindness is not weakness. So there's some people that act like they're nice, but they're just talking shit about you behind their back. Like I try to say exactly what I think outright. So then there's no secrets. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. I don't I think a lot of people that pretend like a lot of these left wingers that pretend like they're super nice, they're actually like really mean, but they have to like masquerade it behind like, oh, I'm the nice guy. It's like with women too. Like I'm gonna say something real quick. Sorry, no offense. I gotta like block this guy, not because you're just being like really like all over the place. But anyway, it's distracting me. God bless. So, um, it's like with women, like, when I was growing up, I never pretended to be, like, best friends with women, and it's not because you can't have a woman friend, it's just, like, I knew the guy who had all the chick friends, he wanted all the chicks, he just, like, couldn't get them, so he had to pretend like he was their friend to get in the door with all of them, and, like, eventually, like, one of them would date him after 2 years, but he was, like, it's like, "I'm your friend," and it's, like, really like when you have a guy and a girlfriend, there's usually like a dynamic where like one person would if they could, if there's attraction there. Not all the time, but I think it's more common than people want to admit. So like is the nice guy that's like I believe all women. Like do you or are you just like trying to get in the door? Like that's like being fake. Me, I'd rather be straightforward about it. It's the same thing with like people that are really nice to the trans community. Like, are you being really nice? Maybe. Or are you just like virtue signaling? Because here's my stress test with that. First of all, I would say the Bible is the real stress test. But in general, like, I'm even more lenient where it's like, will you admit the sports is a bad idea? Like, can you at least admit that? I mean, that's an easy bar. It's like way below the bar that you should even go to. If you're a liberal and you can't even admit that trans sports is insane, you're insane. You're not nice. You're nuts and you're fake. So it's like if you can't at least admit that, then I don't even believe you're coming from a good place. If you can admit that that's a bad idea, but then you can try to explain to me like how you care about people and you want to help them, I believe you because there's a way to be nice about this stuff if you want to be. But like if you can't say that, you're just fake. And that's a lot of the left. They want to like suppress their own inner thoughts. So they like, they like pretend like they like all races and then they have like 3 beers and then they don't or something. I'm right out in the open. It's like I like good people. There are good people of all ethnic groups. I prefer a great person of another ethnic group than a shitty person of my group. However, I'm not going to pretend like you can just put 50 cultures in a town when it wasn't that way 10 years ago and it's going to be exactly the same. It's not like, and it doesn't mean everyone's bad. It just means like you can't just be that fake. It's like, oh, we're going to do this, and this, and it's going to be great. And the crime rate's not going to go up. And it's like, that's not what's happening though, and there's a reason it's not happening. And there's a lot of reasons, but if you can't talk about any of the reasons, then it's never going to stop or get better. So I just say what I actually think because it's easy to like not have to pretend. Like I'm not a hateful person. Like even when they say things like, oh, he's this or I'm really not though. I'm not sexist. I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm not racist. Like these are all just like words to try to put you in a box when they don't want you to say certain things. Oh, you're talking about demographics? That's racist. Oh, you're talking about statistics? Oh, that's anti-Semitic. Like these are words to just shut you up and make you look crazy. When anyone who watches me, they're like, oh, he's not crazy. He's not hateful. He doesn't hate my people. Like that's crazy. Like it's just, these words are made up, You could explain yourself without using those words. And if you can't, then you probably aren't right. If you can't explain how someone is racist without saying the word racist, you're probably wrong and they're probably right. Or you're just not smart enough to like articulate it. I don't know. Am I in the manosphere? No. I mean, they make some good points, the manosphere, but I feel like a lot of it is like a cope as well. Cause like say like a chick that works out a lot, right? They always post these pictures of this like hot chick who has like huge muscles, right? But her face is really hot, but she's got like a more like, a workout body. And then they're like, would you date this person? And everyone in the comments are like, yes or no. I feel like if you really weren't going to date them, you just wouldn't date them. But I feel like the amount of people in the comments saying no, like that's the hottest girl they could ever get. So it's like, I feel like a lot of the manosphere, not all of it, but like a lot of the manosphere is guys that are not naturally like cool and charming and they can't get women easily. So they had to like learn all these skills and talk about them in order to get women. It's just like, but they're not wrong about a lot of stuff. Like, I'm not a feminist. I agree with most of what they're saying, but I just feel like the vibe is so weird. Like, this is how you treat a woman. It's like, bro, have you ever heard me have to talk about that? Like, it's like, if you do it, just do it. You don't got to like make it up. But if that's your profession and you make money off it, that's fine. But I feel like, yeah, a lot of it is like, degen. A lot of the trad people are like LARPing, but they're not doing it. And it's like, I'm not trying to be like a big hater because I'm focused on myself, but I don't know. I find the men that are like, this is what I think about women. I just think it's corny. It's just kind of corny. It's like, if I'm not saying you're wrong, but I don't know. Like, are you really crushing it that much, or are you just pretending to on Twitter? Like, yeah, you're turning that girl down. Are you like, the belle of the ball when you go out? Probably not. You're like, so it's like, whatever. Teach their own, though. I mean, they make some good points. I think it's funny. I'm not a feminist, but like, I don't know. I prefer reality, like just living in the real world and going from there. Someone says it feels gay when you make a club out of masculine ideas. I agree, MC. I think it's kind of cringe because at the end of the day, it's like the ultimate goal is probably to like have a wife, right? And if you have a wife, you don't have to impress Twitter or the manosphere. You just do it and make kids. With that being said, yeah, if you're making, I don't know, it is corny. Like, look at how straight I am. I wouldn't date her. It's like, bro, I guarantee you, I see that guy at the club, and they're not pulling chicks. You know what I'm saying? Or they're not like the king of the ball or anything. It's like, so everyone's got to pretend, and like all the guys saying they wouldn't probably would, they just can't. So it's like, I'm not simping. I'm just saying it's like there is something really gay about the manosphere. It's like making a man's club where it's like, we're all boys here. We like women. We treat them like this and get these results. And if you buy my course, I'll tell you how to get a woman with the psychology tricks of it's like, or you could just be charming and impressive and women will like you. Like if you just have like a good personality and have like appealing aspects to you, you don't have to like read a course and like say like things that aren't what you would normally say. Like when I meet a girl, I'm not like, hey, your skirt looks like shit. Sorry, I didn't really mean it. I just said it because it's like reverse psychology. I say it looks like shit, then I walk over there, talk to that girl. I mean, I read a course. It's like, I mean, everybody needs something though. It's like, if you don't know how to work out, you get a course. I get it. I like, if you don't know what you're doing, it's probably smarter to like learn how to talk to women. But I just think it's kind of funny. I'm not knocking it though, because if you really have no social skills, it probably would help to like listen to someone who did, to like learn, like, how do I get women to like me? But then women, if guys are learning this on courses, you got to watch out here. Cause like you think you're talking to some like charming guy and he literally just like learned it on a course. That's kind of weird. It's going to fall apart eventually. Like date 3, like he's going to malfunction. And like the course is like, oh, this is really who I am. It's like, oh shit. I thought you were that guy. It's like, no, I just learned how to pretend to be that guy on a forum. It's like, okay. Someone said fresh and fit are definitely gay. Haven't seen their shorts. I don't know Fresh and Fit that well. Like I've seen the highlight clips, but I don't even know exactly what they do. But that was not me saying that. Someone in the comments said that. I was just reading the comment. I'd love to go on one of those shows. I think it would be fun. I like to talk about other stuff. It's not like my forte. I've always thought it was kind of corny. Like in my whole life, like whenever guys talk about women too much, I always thought it was corny because like when you're like, if it's your boy and he's like, yo, I really like this chick or whatever, like that's cool. Obviously you talk with your friends, but like if you're not that good of friends with a guy and they're like, yo, I've got this chick and look at her Instagram and look at her Instagram. It's a little douchey. And also I feel like, you don't have to do that if you're pulling chicks. So to me, like it always was like, I don't know. That whole manosphere vibe never really like resonated with me. It's like, do what you got to do, my guy. Like, you don't got to like brag to everybody about it. Cause usually that means you're not really doing that well. If you're bragging that much, it's like you're acting like it's the craziest thing you've ever done. Where like if someone actually does it like consistently or like is appealing, then it's not like the highlight of their life where they're like showing it off all the time. But someone said, I knew you hit a nerve when Vivek was on Roseanne. I've seen Vivek lose his cool one time, and it was when Anomaly was mentioned. Vivek was clearly triggered. What's his real name? He said twice. Interesting. I gotta find that clip. Did he ask that? See, part of me feels like the Vivek interview was a setup because after that, I had a crazy media. Vivek is like a straight up snake. All right. So I interviewed Vivek, right? After that, I had all this press and like Israeli press. They all did this hit job on me and said anti-Semitic, 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 anti-Semitic. And it published in like 50 different news organizations with my full name, all that stuff, right? And I was super bummed out because I was like, that's not the type of press I'm trying to get. And I didn't even talk about that. And then Vivek retweeted one of the articles and was like, I'm not far left or far right. I wouldn't be surprised if Vivek set me up, to be honest. That dude is a total fraud. But it's like he retweeted one of the articles trying to act like he was like helping me by calling me far right and showing this hate organization, posting my full name, calling me an anti-Semite. Like that's you get what I'm saying? Like that's not organic. Dude, that guy is a total snake. Politics is a really gross game. So it's like if it is what it is. But I'll find that part of the Roseanne thing. That's interesting. Someone said, now that's just the Israel lobby. It's possible. Like part of me thinks that it was just because Vivek was getting attacked by the Israel lobby. So they kind of like looped me into it. It's a possibility. But also it just felt weird. Like it felt like he was like helping me, but not helping me. Like, it just something felt off about it, but I'm not going to blame him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't on it, but he might have not been. It might just be the Israel lobby trying to attack him to make sure he doesn't like step out of the boundaries since he's so new to politics. Like, they already got Bobby Kennedy. They already got Trump. They already got DeSantis. They already got everybody but Thomas Massey. So it makes sense if Vivek's going to throw his hat in the ring that they need to like attack him every day of his life until he caves. So maybe they just caught me up in that, I'm not going to like throw false accusations, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was like in on it, but I don't know. Someone said Vivek and Candace are besties. Here's the thing though. I'm not a petty person. If Candace likes Vivek, that's fine. I have a lot of mutual friends that like Vivek. I don't hate the guy. It's just like, I don't want a pharmaceutical hedge fund guy to run our party after COVID. And I wanted someone to give him a real interview. He's a very likable guy. And that's what Republican politics is. It's a giant hangout. It's like high school for adults. So that's what like, if you can network, you could do well in politics. But here's the thing. It's like, if you're a real friend of somebody, like I like Candace, you don't try to micromanage who they can and can't be friends with. You understand? She works for Ben Shapiro. That's fine. She likes Vivek. That's fine. Like, I hate when people try to micromanage other people's friendships. Like you can't be friends with them. Cause I would eventually like to be friends with Vivek one day, but it's like, I wanted to give him a real interview and I'd love to give him another real interview. And I'd love to give Trump a real interview, but that's the thing is like most people don't do journalism. They're just hanging out. Like, even when Tucker Carlson did an interview with Trump, he didn't give Trump a real interview. Why didn't Tucker Carlson give Trump a real interview? Because he wants to milk the Trump economy. And he knows if he gave Trump a real journalistic interview, he loses access to the Dana White Trump economy. So he gave him a softball interview. It is what it is. It's just like, it's unfortunate, but I get it. Like it's all about networking and social circles. And like these people are smart. They're doing what they have to do. And politics is an ugly world. I wish these people the best. It's just like Candace can be friends with whoever she wants to be friends with. And it would be super douchey to try to like micromanage that. And like same with Tucker. Like I like Tucker. He likes a lot of people. It's just like, I guess, there's certain people that you ask really tough questions to. And then there's certain people that you just have a podcast with, and that's kind of the game that they're playing. And it's like it's cool. It's just like it's not journalism though. And now we just have like two sides fighting with each other. And so to be honest, I can't stand the world of politics, and I would love to eventually just completely ignore it because it's this weird cycle where it's like the left and the right are both lying. Both sides don't care. There's too much idol worship. People think it's a sports game. They like trust these random people that cried on January 6th. They hate you for telling them the truth. And it's this constant tricks and traps. And it's one of those things like if you ignore it, like whenever I ignore politics for a day or two, I never want to go back. I mean, I like talking about what I'm talking about, but if I could just ignore it and never read about Ben Shapiro and Tom McDonald and this person and that person, and it's like I would be totally fine with it. It's not like I need to listen to stories every day. And it's like, where is it really going? Like it's going to Trump or Biden. Like, it's going to one of them, and one of them's going to run the country, and the stock market's probably going to go up over time, and they'll probably start a new war. Maybe they won't. And hopefully there's not disease X or whatever. It's like I could easily just ignore all this stuff because I don't want to be a politician. I don't want to just network with people. I like friends, but if you're running for like, this is where I kind of draw the line. Like, what do I want to be friends with Trump? Of course. Like, why would you not want to be friends with Trump? He's like a legend. But if he's the president and he prints trillions of dollars and does Operation Warp Speed, no one wants to ask questions. It's like, isn't someone supposed to ask a question? And then you ask the question and like people hate you for it. They're like, oh, right. And it's like, like, why don't you run for office? It's like, because I'm not trying to run for office. At one point, there was something called journalism. Like, they used to do reports on vaccines, and like, why don't you make a vaccine? It's like, well, that's, Mike Wallace is a reporter. He's doing a swine flu vaccine breakdown. I'm not saying Mike Wallace is your best friend, but if you ever could find the Mike Wallace 60 minutes swine flu vaccine investigative journalism, it's amazing. No one's done a piece like that in the last 40 years. Like, I don't like Mike Wallace, but he actually did journalism like that. That's what that was for. It was for hold the pharmaceutical industry accountable. Look at when the government messes up. When the government works with the pharmaceutical industry, you make a report about it. Like, that's what I thought I was doing. But I realize now, nobody, like, people don't like that. They don't want you to do that. Like, they get mad at you for doing that. They're like, how dare, like, they want Tucker Carlson and Trump to just talk about John Daly and UFC. They want Vivek just to hang out. Like, and to me, it wasn't a hateful thing on Vivek. It was just like, listen, my guy, you're running for president, right? That's cool. That's fine. But, we just had a crazy lockdown pharmaceutical bonanza, and you came from the pharmaceutical industry. And as much as people got mad for me, like, nobody asked him this stuff. Not a single right-wing journalist that I saw even asked him 3 questions about his 6 to 7, however many years in pharmaceuticals, and how he got from the hedge fund to the pharmaceutical industry and what he did. And, like looking into his stuff. Yeah, I could have been nicer, but it's like, why do I have to do that? And if I do it, what's my reward for doing it? Do I get rewarded? No, I get the media calling me anti-Semitic, publishing my full name, Vivek, calling me far right, and them trying to ruin my life and call me an anti-Semitic blogger because I gave Vivek a real interview. Like, that's what you get in this world. You don't get money for it. Everybody hates you. Both sides rain down on you, and you realize that there is no right and left wing. They're two wings of the same bird. But people don't want to believe that. It's like they just want to play along. They want to pick a character. So it's like, who am I to, it would be like me complaining about Tom McDonald and Ben Shapiro. Why would I do that? I make my own music. I make my own content. There's nothing wrong with them making a song. I don't have to listen to it. So with this, it's like, I don't necessarily care because I've had 1 billion views. I have millions of followers. I do believe that what I'm doing is going to last the test of time, and I'm not playing the victim. It is what it is. I'd rather get called that than be a liar, And honestly, if you read what I said, it's like, I'll apologize when I'm sorry, not when I say things that I believe or make commentary. So it is what it is. It's just like, where do you go from here? I'm just trying to figure out like how to navigate this situation, because it's like, I wouldn't move to San Francisco. I don't like San Francisco. I think it's gross. I think liberals are terrible at running cities. So I don't go there, and it's like, I don't complain about it every day, once in a while, but I've identified that I just don't want to live there. I kind of just don't want to live in the political realm. I like doing what I'm doing, talking about it the way I talk about it, but where is it going? I don't really know. I think I've made an impact. I think I've had a positive impact, and I think there's a lot of things that I do that really help. But I'm good at following trends, and I'm just wondering like where this actually goes and if it's even worth it, like, because if I didn't have to do this for a week, it would not be that hard for me to like not pay attention to any of this stuff. But it's also fun to talk about. It's a good job, and it's just like when I skied and then I come back to like everyone sending me articles. It's just like, ugh, like who wants to read an article? Who wants to like see all this stuff? It's like I'm a big proponent of living in my own reality. Someone said thoughts on Sydney Sweeney hotness. Can I look up who that is? Because I keep seeing it. Is this like a psyop or who is this lady? Because I've never heard of this person. And then I've heard the name like a million times in the last 3 days, like all over my Twitter feed. Is she like some plant or something? Sydney Sweeney is an American actress. She's in Euphoria. I mean, she's pretty. She's got a pretty face. Why is everyone trying to get me to like this chick so much? I don't get it. Let me see. She's definitely like very pretty, naturally. Why yeah, like what's going on with her? Someone said, Anomaly, there's an article about you. It's terrible or untrue. Oh, there's a bunch. They did a whole like thing on it. It is what it is, though. I'd rather them call me that than play along with them and be a liar and hate my own people in my own country. So I don't really care anymore. But I did for a couple weeks. I definitely did care. Someone said she's probably a dude. Why does everybody say that every actress is trans? It starts out and they're like, she's a dude. And I'm like, no, they're like, Taylor Swift is a dude. I'm like, no, she's not. But then I like look into it. I'm like, I don't think she is. But there's a theory about that with everybody. Reading some comments. What kind of other things do you like to talk about? I don't know. I'm not really trying to complain, honestly. This is a pretty cool job. And I don't do well in normal situations. So it's like this is not a pity party for myself. I'm just speaking out loud. I'm not like, oh, feel bad for me. Are you kidding me? This is the greatest thing ever. Like I'm allowed to like take breaks and do stuff and fly home and see my family, which I've over the last couple of years, I've been seeing my family more and more and more and more. Cause like having a flexible schedule, like that's awesome. And not everyone in my family has that. No one does. So what would I do? I like doing live music shows. I like doing live events. I like sports a lot, but like I'm not going to be a professional athlete. I'm 34 now, so I don't know. I just want to. I want to be productive. I want to be helpful, and I want to like set myself well. So I don't want to. I'm not really sure, but I'll figure it out. And in the meantime, this has been great. It's just one of those things where I want. I want to be productive, and I think I have been productive, and I think I have been helpful, but it's getting to this point where like things are going in interesting directions, and it's like I don't want to make the content I used to make. Like I just don't want to, because it's like I used to make content like during COVID. It was easy, like that was straightforward. Before that, it was like I was defending Trump and talking about liberals and like but now it's like I don't see the point. Like I could do that and get millions of views, but it's like, why? What's the point? Like the left and the right. Like I'm not interested in the whole false paradigm anymore. I'm just really not. We want your thoughts on Tucker and Cat Turd. I'm not going to watch that interview. I'm sure Cat Turd is a really nice guy, but his head is so far up Trump's ass. He's like the ultimate like boomer, just chirping Trump talking points. Like I'd rather listen to Ben Shapiro rap than listen to Cat Turd tell me about his philosophy. Like, no offense. I'm sure he's a great guy. It's just like that's not interesting content for me. I don't want to watch that. Am I familiar with Eric July's commentary of music? I know who he is, but I'm not super familiar. I know he's like a metal artist, and I know who he is, but I don't listen to him. Nothing bad to say. I'm just not familiar. Someone said you're evolving. Yeah, I like, definitely. There's like sometimes there's a fork in the road and there's different ways you could go. So it's like, I see what a lot of other people are doing. I'm just not interested in it. And if I'm not passionate about it, I can't do it. I can't just do something that I don't believe in. It's not really possible. Anomaly never ran a campaign or went to a Demo Republican convention, but he knows all the answers. Well, what are you referring to? I never said I know all the answers. Never said I was a politician. It's just like let me give you an example. If the pharmaceutical industry, this is hypothetical, they do this to a lesser extent, but say the pharmaceutical industry gave $50 million to the Democratic Party and then $10 million to the Democratic nominee and $50 million to the Republican Party. and $5 million to the Republican nominee. And I come out here and I say, hey guys, the pharmaceutical industry is lobbying both sides of politics, right? Just generic, obvious stuff. I say that and people go, what does Anomaly know about anything? Like they want to, people like this guy, they want to believe in the cosplay. It's theater, it's Power Rangers, it's Game of Thrones. They don't want someone to ruin their circus. It's like, I'm not out here acting like I'm reinventing the wheel or anything. And I'm not out here claiming to know profound things that I don't know. And even when I am heavily opinionated on certain stuff, if it's not like a concrete fact, then it's like, it's just my opinion. I don't really care if you disagree. But it's like people like this, they don't want to stop the show. They don't like, there's so much obvious things that you don't need to run a campaign to know, but they don't want to stop. It's like they're addicted to the theater, like they never want it to end. It doesn't matter. Trump could be 500 years old, long gone, his kids, like they never want to stop. They live in this world and they can't let it go. What do I think of the Super Bowl colors matching the two teams for the past 2 years? If it's Ravens, 49ers will be a third year in a row. I didn't notice that, but I did notice that the Rams were the Ukraine colors. I thought that was kind of weird, So I was honestly thinking maybe they would let Israel colors win this year, but I don't know. I would have to look that up. The Rams won and they were blue and yellow like Ukraine, so I don't think it would be the third year in a row that those colors are there, but I don't know. I'm like on the fence about it. I think it's real, but at the same time, if it wasn't, I wouldn't even care. Someone said tunnel rights or trans rights. That would be a funny shirt. You make tunnel rights or trans rights and just wear that around. Holy crap, that would be so funny. Dude, imagine just walking down the street with a tunnel rights or trans rights shirt and everyone's like, what? And you're like, it's important. You got to really be up to date on your activism. And it's like, are you okay, dude? Someone said, has Anomaly heard of Alan Watts? Yeah, I have an Alan Watts book. I've absolutely heard of him. I'm trying to think what Alan Watts book I have. I don't feel like looking, but I have one. $20 from New Zealand. Thank you. From Ham Magnuson. What's up? That's a fire name. Thoughts on Samson? You both are the most honest rappers, in my opinion. God bless, brother. I've never heard of Samson. I mean, isn't he from the Bible, though? And then there's like Samus from the video game. But I'm not. I'll check him out. I've never heard of Samson the rapper. When is the James O'Keefe, Candace, and Anomaly play coming along? I don't know, but like when I hung out with James, he likes music too. So I was telling him, I was like, dude, it would be really cool to make a play. Like that would be a really fun thing to do. He was like, yeah, that would be fire. Cause he loves like singing and dancing and stuff. So we got along on that. I like James. I like him as a person. He's also a wild boy. He does very crazy work. It's not my genre. I would never want to do it, but it's just what he's done for a while. But I do. It would be cool to make like a play. I think I could do like Hamilton. I think I could make like songs like that, with the right musicians around me. So I would love to do that one day. But you need to have like a good team. You can't do it by yourself. Do I like Tom McDonald? I don't hate Tom McDonald. I definitely he's not on my playlist at the moment, but I said it earlier. I think he's a marketing genius. I think he's a branding genius. I think he's great as an independent artist. I think he's a good lyricist. He's a good producer. I think he's got all the skills. It's just I'm not like, and I'm not knocking what he's doing, but like I'm not into like gimmick rap, like and he's mastered it, and I'm not knocking it. It's smart. It makes more sense than not doing it. Why would you do a song that doesn't have a full package when a full package works better? It's just, to me, I've heard the same song 40 times now. Like I used to show my friends Tom McDonald like 4 years ago. I'm like, yo, this is kind of fire. Like, this is so sick. And then it's like he just kept making the same song, the same premise, the same like hook, the same verses, the same concept. He did the same concept like 10 times. So it's like, how many times can I listen to the same exact song? But it's working. So it's like, why would he stop? I'm not telling him to stop. It makes total sense. It's just like, I don't know. I would love like a different concept eventually, but it's, he's not making music for me. And it's working greatly. That That's just as an MC, as a lyricist, like I'm not gonna sit and say like, oh my gosh, he sucks, or like he's a great rapper, he's a great lyricist, he's a great producer, he's a great businessman, he's a great marketer, he makes great videos, like he does everything great. Just artistically, I'm just not into it anymore. It's like the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. You know, like I'm just tired of it. But people are not, so it's like, you know, it is what it is. Um, it's interesting though, man. Like, you know, the world is. I'm more interested in how things work than like even being, because there's always something to learn. I think when you're hating too much, then you just like shut it down. But if you're open minded, you could kind of learn even when you don't like something. Someone said, but he can't write a chorus. I mean, he does his chorus in his ways. It works, but yeah, I mean, I've heard other people say they don't like his choruses too. I don't necessarily dislike his choruses. I just think they're all very similar, you know? But as a rapper myself, my responsibility is to make my choruses better, not talk about someone else's. But yeah, I think he's just done the same thing so many times that it's like, I don't know. Am I gonna ever collab with Bryson again? Almost definitely. You know, we're friends. We both make music. I would say it'll probably happen again. Have I ever snorted cocaine? Absolutely not. That sounds terrible. And kids, stay off the drugs, and also just be just the street drugs, you got to just stop doing. I'm just being honest, because the fentanyl mixed in with everything nowadays, like you got to just not do any of that stuff. Um, Check out Upchurch. I've heard of him. I'm not really familiar with his music, but I know he's doing very well. There's a way to make it. You just got to be consistent, persistent. With my music, here's the thing. When I only did music, that's all I wanted to do. I never wanted to do this. But then once I did this, I did want to do this, and I still like doing it. It's just like the politic left right thing is just annoying me. I like doing this. It's just I'm like trying to figure out what I want to do, because it's not talk about like generic stories all the time. Someone said the green stuff behind your head is killing me. What is that? It's like ivy. I don't know. It's poison ivy. You rub your face on it, you're sick for weeks. No, I'm just kidding. But in general, it's like once I made money doing this, and once I made a business around this, I didn't feel the need to have to do anything. You understand? Like when you're rapping, I want to get signed. I want to make a career. I want to do this. I want to do that. I kind of made it, you know? So it's like, once I made it, I just did 3 shows in front of like sold out crowds. I do it, you know what I'm saying? But I don't have to go on tour. And I don't know if I even want to go on tour, to be honest, because then you got to live on a bus and travel a lot. You know, I get kind of tired after a week. So it's one of those things where it's like, what do I want to do necessarily? I don't know. Like, do I really want to crush with music and prove everybody wrong? Kind of, you know, but then also like, do I have to do it? No. Do I have to drop a song every month? No, I could not drop a song in 2 years and I'll be fine. So it's been a freeing experience for me over the last couple of years of not having to do it, because it's like when you make your business outside of music, you're off that rat race. You know, like I was on the music rat race forever, and it's like, oh, I don't have to do it. If I drop a song, it could go number 2, it could go number 200. I don't even care. It could get 100,000 streams, or it can get, 10,000 streams. I don't care. So that's kind of how I've been. But I do kind of have a chip on my shoulder, because I do, I've been an MC my whole life. I'm a freestyle rapper. I'm a battle rapper. I have lyrics. I could come up with them on the spot. I think I'm good. So, part of me does have a chip on my shoulder when people say you can't do this and that. And it's like, maybe I do want to flex on them. Maybe I do want to blow up, but it's not like I really have to, like, oh, I got to do this. It's like, keep pushing me. I like when people say negative stuff, because that kind of fuels me. It's like, I might have to, turn it on. But, to make a great song and to get a great marketing song, like there's never been a time like now. Like you're better off doing something crazy that people react to, Like, let me give you an example. Sorry if this is gross. I shouldn't come up with another example, but I thought of it. Like, say I come up with like a song that's like so fire. The rhyme schemes are good. The lyrics are good. The hook's good, but it's not about a topic that is like really viral. It's not going to get that many views unless you collaborate with a big artist or have like good marketing. It's just the truth. I'm not mad at it. It's just how it works. But if I made a song called like Dildo on My Head, I like if you made a song and like you're literally like some of these rappers be like, I got a dildo on my head, dildo on my head. Like that would like blow up more than like a great song because everyone would be laughing at it. They're like, why is that lady doing that? Or like, what the hell? You know, they're like, I twerk on my twerk. I got poop in my poop. And like it goes viral and everyone's like, what the hell? Like, but like 90% of people are making fun of it. 10% of people like it. And half the influencers will just dance to anything with a bass line. So it's like, you know, it's like, I don't like, what do you want in this world? Like, do you want attention? All attention's not good attention. Do you want money? It comes at a cost. Like, what are you willing to do for it? You know, like these are questions anyone has to ask themselves. With me, I'm not like, I don't need anything that much, you know? So it's like, it's just funny that I literally can make a song where I didn't even rhyme and it would get more views than like a great song, you know, unless I really thought through the great song. Sometimes I am trying to think of a song that does well. Other times, you know, one of my more stream songs like was Way Too Jack for the Gulag, which is hilarious because I never thought that song would get that many streams because it's an obscure reference. That song probably has over 1 million streams on everything combined, but on Spotify it has like 200,000 to 400,000 streams. If people remember when I made Way Too Jack for the Gulag, it was after Joe Biden won and everyone's like, oh, he's going to send us to the gulag. And I wasn't trying to be negative. So I was like, let's just get too jacked for the gulag. Like we got to get so strong that we don't even fit in the gulag. Like we got to work out and be fit. And I never thought that song would take off because it's like, why would it? It's like no one even knows what gulag means. I almost kind of just made it for myself and my audience because I thought it was fun. And that song ended up being one of my bigger songs. It got like over 1 million streams on everything. Every time I like, you know, I've had like multiple women that'll just hit me up and be like, oh, that song's amazing. I played it for all my friends. Like for some reason, women like that song a lot. I was like, okay. Like I was just kind of messing around. I mean, the song's good, but like it's I'm way too jacked for the gulag. I ain't getting caught like it was a game of school tag. AOC want to put me onto the food stamps, but I don't want government to make the move yet. Can't decide if I want a blonde or a brunette. Pandemic flow like I'm coming out of Wuhan. I just praise Christ. Stay away, you humans. But if you want beef, I'm serving up the Hunan. Hey, way too fast for the gulag. I don't even remember the rest of it, but like it was not even like everyone always asks me like, what's gulag? I'm like, it's not for, you know, the song's not for everyone, but sometimes that works and other times it doesn't. You know, sometimes you make a song for yourself and no one cares. Other times, someone said you rap like Biden talks. Come on, Jack. I could probably make a Come On Jack song and that would be bigger too. Come on, Jack. Come on, Jack. Come on, Jack. Jack. But it depends like who the audience is. Like if, you know, I could make a song and like a top 10 rapper of all time that's on like all time rap list will message me and say, yo, that's an amazing song. And then some like boomer in Wisconsin will be like, rap sucks, I hate you. Or like someone named Bear will be in the comments saying whack. So it's like everybody likes different stuff. You know, it's like Ben Shapiro will hit #1 on the rap charts. It's like, it's all subjective. I don't really take anything too personally, but it's like, I don't know. I like when people say things are whack because then I just will make something even better. Who are my top favorite rappers? I don't know. I don't really have a list right now, but I just have a playlist that I listen to when I drive. Got some bangers on it. Let me see. All right, I'm going to answer a few more and I'm going to take off. Appreciate you guys. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, I'll be doing some stuff for sure. And I went skiing. It was a good time. It's nice. Nice drive. Nice little ski. Didn't get injured. W's all around. Let me see. Just grew up in an immigrant town, said Ian. Experienced many different nationalities having a lot of the same characteristics. Many Americans now are what I've recently heard coined as old mixed Americans. Call it what you want to call it. Just make sure they got a green card. Am I right, folks? Someone said Kanye is such a blank. He apologized. Yeah, I don't know. It's on him, his life, what he's doing. I'm not going to, until I see it, I'm not going to really talk about it. Forget the chip anomaly. Hip hop doesn't have to define you. It's not a bad thing. I'm just competitive. It's like when I play sports and someone's like, I kind of have, I'm not comparing myself to Michael Jordan, but you know, the way he had like a chip on his shoulder, it's just like I'm a very competitive person. I like to win. You know what I'm saying? I love competition. Uh, so when people say things, it's like it fuels me. It doesn't like make me mad. It just makes me want to do better. So no, I'm not concerned what people say. Like if I play a sold out show for 400 people and it's an audience that doesn't even know who I am, and by the end of it they're cheering loudly and like clapping when my name's announced, I'm not concerned with what someone says on the internet about my skills. You know, it's like I know I've never once been like booed or anything, even though I played in front of multiple different crowds in areas. You know, it's not easy to rap necessarily, and I'm not like complaining, it's fine. But like when you're at a rock show, people are not there for rap, you know? So like you rapping at a rock show, you're kind of like, you got to be good and you got to have a good show, or else people are going to be like, why are you rapping at a rock show? You know, like it doesn't always translate unless you're good. So, you know, it's not a negative thing. I like competition. So when people say you can't do this, you can't do that, I know I can. And also I've been rapping since I was like 10 years old. Like I'm a good MC. I think I think I'm one of the best lyricists in the world. You could laugh at that. You could think it's cocky. I know I am. I know I know what I'm capable of. I know what I've done. I know what I haven't done. So everyone's opinion of me, it doesn't matter. I could battle with the best of them. I could be a battle rapper. Like all these battle rap, I could have been that. I tried to be that and they never let me be that. I had millions of views on YouTube when I was 20 years old, and I used to ask King of the Dot and these people that are these big battle. I said, hey, let me battle rap. I could, and then, you know, they never let me do it. So then I blew up and got bigger than everybody. So, you know, I know what I'm capable of. And when people don't believe me, I do it anyway. You know how many labels told me I couldn't do this or I couldn't do that, or it's like, it means nothing to me. It just fuels me. I'm like, let me have it. Then I'll go write a classic song. Don't worry. Anomaly versus Disaster. Now, Disaster would kick my ass. First of all, me and Disaster are friends. I love Disaster. Also, he's like one of the like I could compete, but like he's been doing it for 20 years now. If I just hopped into it now, he'd eat my lunch. But as far as if I would have got in, if they would have let me in when I was 20, 21, etc., I could, you know, it would have been a real spectacle. But Disaster is one of the best, man, and that's my friend. So I said Anomaly gets mad a lot and leaves quickly. Honestly, not every time I leave fast, I don't get mad. Like sometimes people will be like, "Oh, your comment ruined his stream." Sometimes I'm looking at like markers. You know, like I'm trying to keep it under an hour. So I leave quickly because it's like 59 minutes. I see it and I run. Other times I have interviews or stuff to do where I have to leave, but very rarely do I get mad and leave. When I leave, people think I got mad a lot of times, but it's just me like trying to cut the stream off, because who wants to listen to a 2-hour stream? This is insane. You know, I'd rather keep it under an hour, but yeah, no, Disaster's the GOAT. I'm not saying I could beat Disaster in a battle. I couldn't. I'm saying it when I was 20, if they would have let me on, I could have been a top 5 or a top 10 battle rapper. Absolutely. But to me, Disaster is like the Michael Jordan of battle rapping. Like he's like the Eminem of battle rapping, but I like him better than Eminem. Like he's like, you know, he's the one. He's the best. His rhyme schemes are insane. His flow, his passion. It's crazy because he's my favorite. I think he's the best battle rapper of all in the last 20, 30 years now of all time. It's not been around that long. And we're friends now. You know, he's been on my stream. We've talked. So it's like, you know, that says a lot too. Like people can have opinions about this and that, but it's like if the greatest people in multiple professions are fans of my content, you think I care what other people say? It's like I have some of the greatest athletes of all time, greatest musicians of all time, greatest lyricists of all time that like my news analysis, some that like my music. It's like I don't take it personally, but I am competitive. I do use it for fuel. Do I like Harry Mack? I don't listen to him, but I know he's a great freestyler, and I think he deserves all the fame and credit he's getting. He's really good with the freestyle, and a freestyle is a talent. You know, like a lot of people, I'm like freestyling with words, but not rhyming. Harry Mack is like a genius freestyler. So it's like a lot of people can read things, a lot of people can write music and do this, but who can come up with it on the spot? That's really what podcasting is. It's freestyle talking. Harry Mack has mastered freestyle rapping, and he's getting really famous because freestyling is awesome and it's another level of skill. Oh yeah, you can rap, but can you come up with it on the spot? Can you talk about my shirt? Can you make you know what I'm saying? can you make a rap about what I'm wearing? Can you impress me with things that I know that you didn't write down? It's an awesome craft. I love freestyle rapping. So yeah, he's great. I'm not like a huge fan and I don't know anything, but from what I've seen, I get why he's big and I there's he deserves it, you know? It's just I haven't gone down that like rabbit hole. Remember Biz Marquee? Of course. Just a Friend played yesterday when I was at Big Bear. You got what I need. I mean, that hook is amazing. You see what I'm saying? Like music is all of these things. Like Biz Marquee, that beat and his his personality and his lyrics. It was a story, and then the Just a Friend hook, like that's a hit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a smash hit. I can't, it's hard to explain why. It's not the most lyrical song you've ever heard, but the personality, the story, and the relatability, it's like that's a smash hit. Yeah, Biz Marquee's the man. Someone said, you must have one heck of a vocabulary to freestyle on current events. Absolutely. God is great. Hoodie is my favorite top quality. Thank you, Rusty. I appreciate you, my man. Yeah, these are I think we're all out of the Dream Rare ones, but these hoodies are seriously like my favorite hoodies. Like that's, everyone has a style, but I get the most messages on the hoodies. People are like, bro, that quality is fire. I was like, thank you. Someone said it leads Daylight red pills like crazy. Yeah, Daylight's the man too. He's very obscure. He's like a genius wild boy, but I like battle rap. I like hip hop. I like I'm just not that interested in modern hip hop. It's just like there's not that many new people that are like really impressing me. I feel like, doesn't everyone say that at a certain age though? Like, am I just getting old? Like you talk to somebody in their 50s, like, yo, listen to this rock song, and they'll be like, Rolling Stones are better, Beatles are better, and they're probably right. Beatles probably are better, but it's like, it's like, am I getting old? I'm just like, oh, this new raps, or is it just getting dumber? I swear it wasn't always this dumb, but maybe it was this dumb, and I was just dumber. I can't tell. It's like twerk on my twerk. I got a shirt. Look at it, squirt, 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 and you're like, and then you got like these like female rappers. Like I saw someone's like boyfriend was like his face was in her butt at like an award show, and it's like, what? I don't know who this is for, but it's just not me. I don't know who this I don't know what the target audience for this is, but it's not me. And that's okay. So what can you really say besides that? Someone said pop is dead. Kind of, but things are just evolving. It's possible. It's just people got to figure out how to market it, and they like, to me, if you want to do it, you could do it. It's just things are changing out here, kids. The kids today are too stupid to write music or lyrics. Here's what I will say though. As dumb as like everybody seems, people are getting better at everything. Like I was watching like snowboarding and skiing and any extreme sports like that. They're all getting better. So it's like the average person is getting weaker and dumber, but these savants, like they're getting better at surfing and like all these things, like with like the great are getting greater. It's just the median is going lower. So if you try at something, you can actually succeed nowadays, because although there is a lot of competition, it's like, and maybe the median is falling, in a lot of sports, a lot of like, there are really, really great people. So it's like, but greatness doesn't always shine through in music. Like it's like gimmicky, like, clicks. And if I ran a website, this is just business, right? If I ran a website, clicks equal money, literally. There's differences because depending on the genre, the ads are not as much. And, there's little things that are different, but overall, clicks equal money. If you can get 1 million clicks, you're going to make more than if you got 100 clicks. That's just how it works. But there's a little bit of nuance there. So that's the world we live in. If someone Sexy Red or Ice Spice or Tekashi 6ix9ine or Ben Shapiro, if that's getting more clicks, that's going to drive more revenue. So then people are incentivized to do that, or people are incentivized to write about that or to react to that. And it just is what it is. I can't explain it. I think you could hate on it, but then even the hate drives the profit. So it's like, you got to watch what you give your energy to, because That's just kind of how it works also. So they don't mind when you hate, like they don't mind if you hate on Trump. They make money off the hate of Trump. They don't mind if you hate on Tekashi 6ix9ine or Lil Xan or something. Like they run those ads because they know they got face tattoos and people are going to click on it and have an opinion whether they like it or hate it. That's kind of how it works. I can't fully explain it. I don't know if it's good or bad for society, but it just is what it is. Can I really complain? I got 1 billion views. I have millions of followers. How hard can I really complain about it? I did it my way, like Frank Sinatra said, and here I am. It could be bigger, could be smaller, but it's like there's been times where it got this and got that. To be honest, like I know how to get more views now. If I sat here and I made 3 Instagram reels and TikToks every day, guys, I could get millions of views a week still. It's not like I fell off. Go to my Instagram page. I have a bigger Instagram page that's more engaged than like 99.9% of people. My Facebook is booming. It's just like I don't care as much. Like I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I don't necessarily want like a lot of attention. I'd rather like build my business properly and be ethical than like get money. Like I want to get into like UFC commentating just for fun as a side thing. But I don't know if I could ever make money in it because the main ad is gambling. Everybody sells gambling apps. I like to gamble sometimes, but I would never sell gambling. I think it's immoral, and I would never want to be the reason that someone got hooked on gambling. So I would never do it. So how can I can't even be in that profession. I don't know a single fighter or MMA podcast that doesn't sell a gambling app. I wouldn't do it. I'm telling you, I will never do it. I don't care if they paid me $1 million, $1 billion, $1 trillion. I'm not selling gambling apps. So I can't even work in that industry. It's like, but it is what it is. It's like, I guess I could. It's immoral, but you partake. Yes, absolutely. It's like, I don't know that I would like sell like getting wasted or something. I mean, but it's like I drink sometimes. Yeah. I absolutely partake and it is immoral. Yeah. That's the gist of it. Did I drop a 360 nipple twist? What is that even? Is that a sex move? Is that like a snowboarding move? Whatever it is, I didn't do it. Someone said Anomaly seems to have good ethics and morals. I try. I don't know. I don't want to just like sell anything. I just feel like weird doing it, like, hey guys, buy this thing I don't even like. And then it's like, for what, a couple $1,000s? I'd rather just not, I'm not desperate. But I do want to make money though. So if anybody wants to sponsor with me, dreamrarebiz.com, DREAMRARE biz.com, dreamrarebiz. I do social media consulting. I would like to do more advertising. It's just I'm very picky. So if I work with you, you'll know that I actually like you and I actually like the product and I'll sell it to my ability. I'm just going to thank you. Brody said you're the definition of base anomaly. Love you, man. Appreciate you, Brody Alexander, aka Old Young Boy. Thank you. I worked with a mushroom company that sells mushroom extracts called Life Cycle, LIFECYKEL. And I made an ad for them. I know the CEO, he's cool. And I've taken the products. I mean, like a lot of people like the mushroom stuff. A lot of people like lion's mane and reishi, and there's all like, and I've actually heard about them. So I didn't feel weird selling them because when I hurt my foot, this is a true story. I lost I stepped on a spike and it went through my foot like a garage spike literally went through my foot. It was insane. And my athlete friend who played pro basketball, he told me, take lion's mane or, take lion's mane mushroom like capsules or whatever. He's like, you should try that for that sort of stuff. So I'd heard of it already. And like, I also drink chagachinos sometimes. It's like a cappuccino with chaga mushroom in it. So I already know these things. Like a lot of people like them. Some people don't, whatever. I made an ad for them on Instagram and I sent the ad to him and it was like kind of an ad. Like, it was like, I was basically like not forcing people to buy it. I was just like, a lot of people like them. Here's what they do. If you ever thought about it, check out Life Cycle. But I said, know your own body. And, I was basically like, take it if you want to, but I wasn't like demanding people take it. And they sent it back to me and they were like, hey, could you like sell it harder? And I was like, no, I don't really want to, and it's not because I don't like it. I've taken the products. I'm promoting it. I don't promote that much. So people know, but someone commented, they go, this was the least addy ad I've ever seen in my life. And I think I'm going to buy it because it's like, you're not like forcing it on me. And I'm like, all right, well, it worked on one person, but I just can't, like, I don't, and I'm not going to say how much I made for the ad, but like, I'm making decent money for just one ad, but it's like, I got to do it my way. I don't know. I can't like oversell it, but like, I like all these things. I've taken them. I've heard great things from most of my audience. I know that most people already know what they are. So instead of like treating everybody like, you're dumb, I'm smart, here's what it does, do what I say, it's more like 90% of you have probably already heard about this stuff. If you haven't, go research however you'd normally research and make a decision of your own to do it. And if you don't do it, don't do it. But if you want to do it, check out this brand because they're cool with me. Like that was the way I ran the ad. At first they said like they didn't like it, but I was like, it's either that or nothing, like, and that's me like possibly losing a good amount of money over something that small. Like most people don't do that. They're not those type of people. That I'm that guy. But I believe that people will take what I say seriously if I'm that, rather than just like, here's 10,000 things, like here's 10,000 things that I'm selling that I don't even believe in. It's like how much, so many of these big Instagram accounts, they're making $1 million a year, but they're not, the people paying them aren't making any money because no one listens to them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know how they're doing, but like, that's just who I am. I can't do otherwise. There's another company, I'm not going to say the name. They offered me a good amount of money and a percentage of their sales. And I went to their website and I looked at the ingredients and I said, you got some trash ingredients in some of your stuff and you shouldn't be giving that to people. And I don't want to be part of it, and they probably hate me, but it's like, that's how I feel. Anomaly, would I work with PBD? He offered me a contract. We negotiated it and it didn't work. So I was debating literally working with him. He offered me a contract and then it fell apart for one reason or another. Would I? Under the right terms, I tried to make the terms right in my opinion, and it wasn't right for him. I don't know why. He told me that it wasn't the right time or whatever. And to their credit, I mean, I haven't seen them hire anybody else new. I think they have a good team together. And, Patrick's a pretty young CEO. I mean, he's in his 40s. I think he's not very old for how well he's doing. I would guess that it's smart for him to just like stick with the guys he's with for now. Cause he's got a group of people that he's familiar with that are loyal and, they spend a lot of time together. So maybe it just wasn't the time for him to expand his roster, or maybe what I wanted and what he wanted were two different things. But, I have nothing really bad to say about that, but I do want to be on the podcast. It's like, if you could almost hire me, you could have me on the podcast, and I don't need attention. I just want to, say what I want to say because I don't see a lot of people saying it. So we'll see. Someone said UFC doesn't embody the values of martial arts. I mean, I think in some ways they do, but Dana White's an interesting CEO. I like him, but he's a mover and a groover. Not everything he does is you have to agree with, but let me see. This is like a 3-hour live stream or something. Here's the thing. It doesn't make sense to go long this live, but I just like to, like, I'm here now. This is not pre-recorded. If I make a pre-recorded video, it's like, here's the points that I make the points. I record it. I edit it. It's cool. And it's actually like easier to watch, but it's like, it's not real. I don't like it as much. I don't hate it, but it's like, I'm talking to myself. This is like real. I'm really here right now. So it's like, yes, it's too long. I don't know how long I'm going to stay, but I'm enjoying being here right now with whoever's here. And then whoever watches it later can see that it was a real moment. Everything I'm saying right now, I'm on the clock. This is not edited. I can't chop it out. If I make a mistake, it's kind of, I've made mistakes before where I'm like, shit, it's kind of scary. You're like, I didn't mean to say that. Sometimes you say the wrong thing by mistake. You never made a mistake talking. This is why I don't talk shit about Trump or Biden messing up speech anymore. They both mess up, Biden more than Trump, but I mess up sometimes. So it's like, can I really make fun of an 81-year-old who should be in a retirement home? If he messes up once a week, that's not bad considering how much he's talking. And like Trump says like Pelosi or he says like Nikki Haley instead of Pelosi and the last man. Like, I'm like, I've learned my lesson. I'm not making fun of either of them over that. I'll make fun of them on other stuff, but it's like, I'm half their age and I probably fuck up more than Trump and Biden. So it's like, I kind of just did then. I said the F word. I really shouldn't say that. So, that's a real conversation. Rusty said Anomaly's been 99.9% right. And I've been watching this since 2018. I'm like, I'm like soap. They say it's 99.9% effective getting rid of the bacteria. I guess that's my stream. It's that same effective rate. Would love to hear you and Jay Dyer chop it up. I got to check this guy out because people keep telling me about him, but I've heard the name, but I don't know. I'm not familiar. And I'm sorry, I've said that like 10 times. I haven't really seen any of his content. Would I do a Bud Light commercial? No. One, no. Two, I don't think I would ever sell beer. I don't know. Like I literally drank beer last night. I went to Big Bear, hung out with some people, went out, got dinner. I don't drink that much, but I do drink sometimes. I'm just not like an addict. I don't have a problem with it. I'm not an alcoholic. I do it very rarely. I'm not against beer. I literally drank beer yesterday. I just don't know if I'd sell it. I don't know. I just feel like, do I really want to sell beer? I don't know. If something feels wrong about it, I don't want to sell gambling. I don't want to sell beer. Someone said you know exactly who Jay Dyer is. See, you're gonna like pretend like I'm pretending that I don't know when I do know, and you're not even spelling his name right. You said Jay Dyer, like a washer and a dryer, so you can't even spell. But no, I've heard the name. Listen, there's people I'm more familiar with. Like I'm just not. I've heard the name, but I can't tell you a single stream I've ever seen of his. If I've seen a lot of edgy stuff. I've seen a lot of stuff that it's just like his I haven't. It's like Harry Mack. I think Harry Mack's a good freestyler, but I've seen like 2 videos and they were like 4 years ago. Like I'm not up to date on his stuff. Like I'll tell you if I am. I've seen crazier stuff than that. It's just his stuff I haven't. I'm not saying he's crazy. It's just like it's like it's not like a secret that I'm pretending like I don't know. If I really wanted to like not talk about something, I'd just not read the question. Like say I didn't want to say his name or I didn't know or I didn't want to admit that I really knew a lot of it. I'd literally just ignore the question and be like, I don't want to talk about that right now. But the fact that I keep reading it, it's like, it is what it is. Someone said Jay Dyer is high academic level on conspiracy stuff. Okay. I'm trying to think of this one guy. Like, there's this one guy with the last name Dyer. Oh, Wayne Dyer. Yeah. Well, like Jay is obviously different, but I know Wayne Dyer. He's like he read Tao Te Ching on YouTube, but also he does like positive motivational stuff. That's why I was like tripping me out in my head. Someone said ignore the trolls, bro. Well, this is the beautiful part about the live stream. It's like everyone can talk. I'm not like I don't consider that person a troll. They just don't believe me. It's not like I could be like, you're a troll, go to hell. It's like, but he's probably just a guy who literally is like, oh, Anomaly's lying. He doesn't want to admit he knows who this is. Like, I don't. There's a lot of other people that I do know that like, it's just, I don't really know him that well. Sorry. You should go on Mixed Bag with Made by Jim Bob. I know who Made by Jim Bob is. I don't know who Andrew Wilson is, though. That's his co-host. Just being honest. Have them name one thing you got wrong. We'll be here till tomorrow. Thank you, Rusty. I appreciate it. I mean, I'm sure there's things I've gotten wrong and said wrong. It's just like, I'll just correct it or admit I was wrong. Some people will like triple down on it. They'll be like, well, when I lie, it's different because I'm a patriot. And you're like, okay, bro, whatever you got to tell yourself. Like, I've literally seen, I'm not going to say who. I kind of want to, but I won't. I saw somebody that like, they literally got a story 100% wrong, right? Let's just put it this way. They're a Trump supporter. They're a conservative. They're a Second Amendment patriot, whatever. They totally messed up. Everyone called them out and they were 100% just like factually wrong. They just messed up. Not a big deal, right? This person's like, well, I mean, I might have been wrong, but because I'm a patriot, technically that person's bad anyway. And it's okay that I'm wrong. And it's like, bro, like that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of that going on where it's like, I'm not saying you're a bad person. It's just like, if you can't even admit you were wrong, it's a red flag. It's like with a spouse, like a guy or a girl, you know, if you're dating each other and like someone's wrong and they can never admit they're wrong, that's like a huge red flag. It doesn't work long term. Or like you run into a, you know, like you got to be able to, you could be stubborn, you could be wrong and not admit it for a while, but like eventually you got to just be like, all right, if you were wrong, you shouldn't apologize if you're right, but if you were wrong, be like, all right. That happened to me like in the last couple months with a woman. Like we were doing something and I was literally wrong and I was being like annoying about it because I thought I was right. And then I figured out like 30 minutes later that I was like literally wrong. And I was like, I'm wrong. I was wrong. You were right. It's probably your favorite thing to hear. So enjoy it. And like they were pumped, but I was like, I was wrong. Like, you know, imagine figuring out you were wrong and then just like never admitting it. That's like psychotic. You know, it's like it's okay. You know, like just admit it. So when news hosts can't do that, that's what I think of Mike Lindell. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's like a genius salesman, former, like, you know, like he's got that, like, I'm going to do it right, like wild boy crackhead energy, which is cool. But like, I don't consider him, like, I wouldn't go to Mike Lindell for like truth because I think he's the type of guy that he's mastered the art of like selling cheap products, but also, or expensive products that are so good. I'm sure they're great, whatever, you know, amazing. I'm sure they're made from the finest, whatever. It's like, but like in general, it's like when he's right a lot. But when he's wrong, he'll never admit he's wrong. He'll be like, well, I'm right about other stuff, so I'm right. I'm a good patriot. Like these type of people annoy the crap out of me. Like he said he was 100% sure that Trump was going to be in the White House. And he said that like in January. Like 100% sure. You can't say 90% sure or 80% sure. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm 100% sure that this is a notepad. Like that's 100%. You shouldn't say that if you're not 100%. But like he's the type of guy to do that all the time. But people like it. It's just for me, I don't. I'm not. I'm like same with like Lynn Wood. Lynn Wood wasn't wrong about everything, but he was wrong about a lot of things. And no one, like everyone loved Lynn Wood for 5 months. And it's hilarious because you see like the MAGA circle, they love Lynn Wood. They yell at you for disagreeing with Lynn Wood. Then Lynn Wood does something they don't like, and then they spiral and say he's a traitor and a Benedict Arnold, and they always knew he was a rhino. And it's like, that's the cycle of MAGA. It's like obsess over somebody, get tricked, spiral, say that they tricked you. It's like this weird victim loop of like just tripping over your own feet. You're like, no, it's the deep state. It's the deep state. You're like, all right, bro. Like at a certain point, though, you could also do something better. No? But like from November to January, Lynn Wood was just like firing off like fake articles, and people were like, "Oh, Obama at the Vatican." It's like, no, that's a fake article. Like, it's not real. And then people get more mad at you for pointing out that conservativebeaver.com isn't a real website. They're like, how do you know? Oh, you think you know everything? CNN would never post this, and you're like, you can lie to yourself if you want to lie to yourself, but you're lying to yourself. I know that you're lying to yourself. And one day you'll know that you're like, why? I don't understand why people like, it's just so weird. Like everything Lynn said, what, like he said a lot of right stuff, but he also said a lot of wrong stuff, but people can't differentiate that. They have this like weird loyalty. Like I posted something one time where I posted some like Tesla hit piece because I thought it was like a viral story. And everyone started commenting, yo, they're just trying to make Tesla look bad. It's not as serious. Like, it's just an update. They're trying to act like it malfunctioned. And it was true. It really was an exaggerated headline to try to make Tesla look bad. And I don't even like Teslas. I don't like those type of cars. But I took it down. You know what I'm saying? I was like, no, it is I don't need to share it. This is not a bombshell story. They're kind of exaggerating. Like, that's the type of guy I am. I'm like, I'll take it down. You know, it's not. Other people's like, I'm lying, but it's good when I lie. It's like, because I'm a patriot. You're like, all right, dude. Ham Magnuson said, sincerely a taxpayer by Samson. I recommend you'll dig it. Independent mullet having white boy from the Ozarks. Well, I am a fan of mullets. So, you know, if you say it's a white guy with a mullet, to be, you know, actually anybody with a mullet, like obviously I like white guys with mullets, like, you know, Australian guy with a mullet, Theo Vaughn. Sounds like a good time. But even like if someone's like, no, it's a Mexican with a mullet or a black guy with a mullet, then you're almost like, really? I really got to see this. So I'm coming to the conclusion that obviously white people wear mullets more than other races. However, I do support any mullets out there. I'm not racist when it comes to mullets. What can I say? I'm just a diverse mullet guy. It's like afros. It's like you can have an afro if you're another race, and some people do, and some people naturally have afros. But there's a certain race that has afros more. It's just the way it is. Can you say that anymore? Can you say white people have mullets on average? Could you imagine I'm at like Harvard, like sweating, and I'm like, so I did my senior report for some reason on hairstyles, and it's like sweating, and like your teacher's like got glasses. She's like, you're like, so I do pattern recognition, and then like as soon as you say pattern recognition, they all look at you like the press is there ready to call you names, and you're like, and I've just gone over the analytics, and I've just come to the conclusions that on average, mullets can be found in other ethnicities, but white people predominantly have mullets at a rate of 95%. And then you're like, and afros, and they're like, are predominantly found among African American, they're like, that was the most racist breakdown I've ever heard. They're like, you're hired. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I used to have a mullet, actually. I could find old pictures when I was young. I used to do cowboy line dancing. I was like a little cowboy. I had a mullet. Listen, you see my hair now. I always had a crazy hairstyle. I don't know how to have normal hair. First, I had a mullet when I was young. Then I buzzed it off and had a little flip hair. Then I just had like a bowl, like Beatles hair. And then Justin Bieber came out and ruined it for everybody. And then I just did short hair again. Then I did long hair. I'm constantly having a character spiral. I don't know who I am. No, I'm just kidding. But someone commented the other day. They were like, Anomaly, I found a picture of you when you were 18 years old. You're changing your hairstyle. And it's like, he thought that was like a bombshell. Like I changed my hairstyle. Like I'm trying to be a different person. It's like, bro, do you go to like boomers and look at their like 70s hairstyle? They're dressed like the Bee Gees, and you're like, you dress differently now. I hope so. Actually, I hope not, because 70s was awesome. But it's like, yeah, boomers don't have the same hairstyle they did when they were like 24 in 19, when they wanted to look like Barry Manilow and freaking like, Barry White from the Bee Gees or whoever. It's like, that's your big bombshell that I had different hair when I was 19. Like, dude, people are funny. You're like, yeah, that's a real gotcha moment. It's like, I can't be the only person that has a different hairstyle. Someone said, watching you update, you were talking 2 hours now, so the top headline, I need to wait. No, it's the opposite. You're actually too late, and you got to rewind. I think you can rewind live now on YouTube. You got to rewind to get to the top headline. I love when people come in at the end and they're like, oh, I got to just, it's like, I get it. It's a little annoying, right? There's a headline. You click on the video, it's nighttime. You're trying to hear it. And then it's not there. It's kind of like if the NFL, if like there's a game, right? And then you tune in with like 2 minutes in the fourth quarter and you're like, where's the first quarter? And it's like, it already passed, dude. Or like, you're watching an American Idol marathon that lasts 3 hours long. And you're like, well, what happened in the semifinals? It's like, you missed that moment. I'm not, it's okay. You're welcome, but to be here. But it's like that moment has come and gone. You're watching a live segment that's been on for a long time. That's past the moment now. Someone said go Browns. The Browns are not in it. All right, I'm gonna make my NFL predictions, which mean nothing because I just don't even really care that much about I'm a Giants fan ish, and they're not in it. Lions, 49ers, Chiefs, Ravens. Ooh, Chiefs, Ravens. That's a good game. You got Patrick Mahomes. He's just a great quarterback. That guy, his wide receivers are dropping passes, but he just knows how to win. Defense is stepping up. Pacheco, good running back, runs hard. I'm going to come back to that once. Lions, 49ers. You got Detroit. Rough times over there in Detroit. Things have not gone right for a while, but they're going right now. You got the Lions. You got Jared Goff. You got two running back format. You got Amari St. Brown or whatever his name is. He's nice on the wide receiver. You got Josh Reynolds in the cut, and then you got the 49ers. You got Brock Purdy. Nobody thought he was going to be that good, but he turned out to be better than people thought. But there's still doubters. There's still haters. You got, Mr. McCaffrey running back. You got a white running back. We haven't seen that in a while, folks. White people are all over the place on the field. Running back, it's been a long time since we've seen one of them boys out there really running hard. So, you got to watch out for him, Christian McCaffrey. His father was Ed McCaffrey. I'm going to say the 49ers are going to win and go to the Super Bowl. And I'm going to say, that the Chiefs upset the Ravens. I'm going to have to say it. But, if not, Mahomes throws a few interceptions, that defense clamps down. Lamar Jackson is who he says he is. Easily that one could go the other way. But that's my official prediction. Chiefs over Ravens in a fun one. 49ers over Lions. You got to go with Taylor Swift. If she's there, they're going to want her there. That's bringing some eyes to the Super Bowl. Let me know what you guys think. That's my attempt at being like an NFL. Could I do that? Could I be on like ESPN and be like, Christian McCaffrey, that white boy, he really runs. So they look over like Stephen A. Smith. Come on, that's racist, yo. And I'm like, listen, I'm just observing these things. Can I interview Rafa from Woo's News? I don't know who that is, but I'll check it out. Or I won't check it out, and I'll constantly just not know who that is until you tell me. But I always say that, and then like by the time this is over, I'm exhausted and I like don't check it out. I'm like, I'll look into that, and then I don't. So someone said a black famous dude with a mullet. Oh, he has a mullet? Well, the chances of me looking that up went up 50%. Having a mullet is good marketing nowadays. You have a mullet, you're like, yo, who's that guy? You're like, whatever. He's got a mullet. You're like, all right, that might make some time. Thank you, Iskran. Appreciate you, my friend. Someone said, I just found out 49ers beat Green Bay. Yeah, I like sports, but the NFL is kind of cringe, but everybody still watches it anyway. I don't know. Can we make the NFL not lame again? I get bored out here. It's like, I'm a man. I gotta watch some sports sometime. My bad. Sports News does say that about McCaffrey. They say he's white. Really? They're like, that white boy really running out there. I mean, there's a lot of white quarterbacks. There's a lot of white offensive linemen. There's a lot of white wide receivers. Before Christian McCaffrey, I felt like white people just didn't do running back anymore. Like you barely saw white running backs. And if you did, they were like that third string guy from like the Patriots. I forget his name, but he was white, like Whitehead. I think his name was literally like, was his name Whitehead? Dude, they just named him Whitehead. That's kind of racist. They're like, white boy, what's his name? Running back? What's his name? Nah. Danny Woodhead. Okay. I thought his name was Whitehead. I was like, yo, that's a crazy last name. You're like, what's that white boy's name? Whitehead. Okay. No, Woodhead. Danny Woodhead. He wasn't even a starter, but like before that, you just didn't see them Caucasians out there running at running back. And then, Christian McCaffrey came out. He changed the whole game. Now you got white people popping up all over the place. He done made people confident again. Now you got darn near white rappers. You got white boys playing like safety again. It's like the whole game's changing. You got Jokic. He's just like, a Serbian superstar. He's like one of the best people of all time. He barely even cares. Like he doesn't even want to be there. And he's like hitting threes at 7 foot. It's a crazy time, Anyway, that's why I would never be on ESPN. I just wanted to do like a 10-minute segment. So if they ever wanted to give me a job, they could use that against me in the future and take it away from me. I just wanted to get that out there. So, if ever I get that opportunity, I'm trying to lose it the day I get it. All right. God bless you guys. Appreciate you. Have a beautiful day. I'm out. And we'll see what happens. Enjoy yourself. Don't go too crazy over the news, and don't stress out too much. There's a lot of stuff. There's an economy for stress, clicks, and definitely reactions and stuff. So just don't let it bother you that much. There's always two options. If you could do something about it and like solve a problem or something, then you could try to do it. But if not, you can't just like freak out over it all the time. There's no point in doing it. All right. Appreciate you guys. Hey, what's going on, my friends? Just a few ways to stay in touch and support if you'd like to. The first way is dreamrare.com. We have blue beanies, black beanies, pink hats, other colored hats, freedom versus tyranny shirts, Stay Blessed long sleeve, God is Great long sleeve, and lots of more cool items coming soon. Dreamrare.com. Check out the shop to support. Everything's made in the United States. Handpicked by me. Patreon.com/raretalk. For $5 a month, you can help support me, support the show. If you haven't noticed, unlike other channels, I don't work with very many sponsors, sometimes none at all. And part of the way I'm able to do that is with the dreamrare.com shop and patreon.com/raretalk. So thank you guys for keeping this show free, unimpeded, uninterrupted. I'm forever grateful. My free email list is stayintouchwithme.com, so check the links below in the description or just type in on any browser stayintouchwithme.com, all one word. You'll find my email list, put it in there, and it's the least annoying email list you'll ever be on. I barely use it because I don't like getting emailed every day or every week. It's annoying, so I don't do it. Stayintouchwithme.com. It helps me take back some power away from big tech. Telegram, t.me/dreamrarechat or @dreamrarechat. Due to censorship, I post all my live stream and videos there. Sometimes I have some bonus content, and I try to give people a heads up when Facebook or YouTube won't. DreamRareChat at Telegram. My Instagram is @DreamRare. Thanks for everybody following there for shorter content. And DreamRareLinks.com, that's DreamRareLinks.com, has all my stuff. My podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, my music on Spotify and Apple, my Rumble page, my BitChute and Gab page. All my links are found at DreamRareLinks.com. Thanks for watching, folks. God bless you. You already know I'll be back with more content soon.